The following is a rebroadcast of the 1995 High School Wrestling Championships. This program was originally presented live on February 25th, 1995.
Funding for this program was provided by members of Friends of Iowa Public Television. 70,000 families helping Iowa Public Television inform, enlighten, and enrich your life. Join them.
Each year, an estimated 7,500 Iowa high school wrestlers begin their quest for the coveted state title. Their journey is a personal struggle that requires skill, mental courage, physical stamina, and that intangible quality known as heart. The best of the best now have the destination in sight. Iowa's finest young wrestlers proudly prepare for the final step in their long journey. Tonight is the decisive moment. For many, the closing act of their high school wrestling careers. But for all these wrestlers, the state tournament is the stuff that dreams are made of, creating memories that will last a lifetime. From Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines, Iowa, Iowa Public Television Sports presents the 1995 High School Wrestling Championships. And hello, I'm Doug Brown with Tim Johnson. And if the size of the crowds this week means anything, this is the best championship we have ever had.
This event was sold out 2 weeks ago. Unprecedented. Isn't that great?
It's amazing. Now, if you've watched this before, you know what a terrific circus it is. There's so much going on. One match on 3 different mats at the same time. 1A, 2A, and 3A sizes of schools. That means we can't cover everything at one time. So according to the Iowa High School Athletic Association rotation system over 3 years, this is the way you'll see them tonight. We'll cover the first 4 weights on 2A, except we're going to make one change because at 125 pounds, there is a 4-time possibility, a 4-time champion possibility in 1A. The middle weights will be 3A, the upper weights 1A, and we'll toss them up because there's an extra one, a 13th weight at 275 pounds. And those matches we are not able to follow completely. We'll try to pick up a little bit in between meets when one ends early. And we'll also have Dick Trotter and Dean Borg, our veteran floor reporters, tell you what happened in those other matches. So we'll keep track of them for you along the way. And I'll tell you what, no matter what, whether it's wrestling or just the crowd, this is just a special occasion, you know?
It really is. 2 words come to my mind: fraternity and family. Fraternity,
yeah.
Because there's hardly a school out there in this state that isn't affected by this championship. They all rally around it. And then the camaraderie between the wrestlers and the coaches, it really gives you a family feeling. But it's more than a feeling of a family. It's really family because 15 coaches this weekend coached their sons. 2 coaches coached 2 sons. It's a family affair.
And I'll tell you what, there's one coach out there who might have a 4-time champion under him along the way. How about that?
Well, I know what it feels like.
Yeah,
Jason Keenan from Ogden, going to be the 10th 4-time state champion. He's won 106 matches in a row. He's really a tough young man. He's a pinner, and I think he has a great chance of doing it. And then there's Eric Juergens from Maquoketa. He dreams of being in Jason Keenan's role next year because he's only a junior, going for his 3rd title. He's won 109 row. He's never lost in high school. And then there's Will Kelly from Dubuque Waller. Will Kelly going for his 3rd title. He's been all over the world, Japan, Russia. He's won national age group titles. He's a really good one.
And we have some terrific team championships to be settled along the way, too. And to talk about them, here's Ron Seaman of The Predicament. What is it, the oldest pub wrestling newspaper about high schools in the country, right?
It's 25 years old this year and the nation's oldest state wrestling publication, Doug.
Well, I'll tell you what, since you followed this all year long, you've predicted everything right so far, right?
Well, our prediction, no one pushed me out on that limb quite that far.
Well, let's see what happened. At 1A, there wasn't much of a contest, it turned out.
No, Columbus Junction did a wonderful job. They're ready to take the trophy home with them. They had it won last night, scored over 100 points. A great state tournament.
But there's still some second and thirds to be settled. And then at 2A, that's up in the air.
2A is very much up in the air. Davenport Assumption with 3 kids in the finals, and Wilton currently in 3rd place, but very close to 2nd. Also have 3 in the finals, and they'll go head-to-head once, so look out for that.
They head-to-head one time. Okay, in the 3As, well, it looks good for Cedar Rapids Prairie, I'd say.
Cedar Rapids Prairie got 2 finalists and nobody else challenging. They've got a 5-point, 4.5-point lead, so Cedar Rapids Prairie, and Ron Peterson deserves that. It's his last year up there, so I'd like to see him win it.
Sure do, but as we say, there are some seconds and thirds to be settled too. Thank you, Ron Seaman. And we're ready to go. It's the big annual classic, the 1995 High School Wrestling Championships, coming up next on Iowa Public Television. We're back at the 1995 High School Wrestling Championships. And now let's join PA announcer Mo Kelly for tonight's opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 1995 State High School Wrestling Tournament. And now, the 1995 Grand March. Here they are, some of the finest young student athletes in our nation today, the top place winners in all three classes of competition at our 1995 tournament. The Grand March is being led by the scorers and timers of our 1995 state tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to center mat for our national anthem as sung by wrestling official Bill Rotes of New Hampton.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The Grand March, which always starts the wrestling championships. How about that? Bill Rotes, we've watched him officiate quite a few times. That's the first time we've had him out singing. He does a good job.
All of New Hampton is all excited for him tonight.
Yeah, good job. Now, these are the top 6 place winners in every weight class for each of the 3 school divisions, 1A, 2A, and 3A. There are some awards to be given here in these opening ceremonies before we get to the wrestling. And we have then the last 2 places in each of the weight classes to be settled. The championship matches will be coming up in all 3 divisions of school as soon as the opening ceremonies are done. And Mo Kelly has given out the many awards. Huge crowd here in Veterans Auditorium. They've known ever since Thursday. I believe that Thursday was about as big a crowd as they've ever had on opening day. And it's absolutely packed. It's wonderful to see all these people. The grand ceremony in Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines, live on Iowa Public Television. With Tim Johnson, I'm Doug Brown, and we're thrilled to be bringing you, this is one of the classic events, the 24th annual telecast of the Wrestling Championships. I remember that one back in 1972 when we started it.
And then, of course, it's the 69th championships for the State High School Championships.
Well, let's go back out to the center of the mat to Mo Kelly.
Ladies and gentlemen, could we have your attention for a moment? We have some special honors to present at this time. First of all, I want to mention that we perhaps have a couple of records established already. One, I think we'll find later, that we have an all-time attendance record at our 3-day state tournament. And the other record I would like to mention is this the first time in history that this many thousands of people have applauded a wrestling official? And it was well-deserved. Another big hand for Bill Rotes, who did a great job on our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, our Grand March escorts, 1995, the scorers and timers at our tournament. Now, while you folks are going to the concession stand, while you're going to the restroom, or perhaps even on the road going home after seeing your favorites wrestle, these fellas are here. All 3 days, over 1,100 matches, and they are here. And a couple of them have been doing it for 25 years consecutive. Some others, many others, for anywhere from 10 to 15 to 18 years. Have you ever known a more dedicated, more loyal group than our scorers and timers? And we just could not have a tournament without their devotion and loyalty to this sport. We're happy they're our Grand March escorts. How about a big hand for the scorers and timers? Ladies and gentlemen, several years ago, the Iowa High School Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association, in conjunction with the Iowa High School Athletic Association, instigated a Hall of Fame to honor coaches and wrestlers who have performed so well in the long history of our state's high school wrestling program. To present the awards representing the Iowa High School Athletic Association, David Hardy, Assistant Executive Director, and he'll be assisted by Richard Woolco, Administrative Assistant. Our first 3 inductees are natives of other states, but they found the good life here in Iowa, and one other reason they came to Iowa was because of the wrestling reputation here that they wanted to be a part of. Our first inductee came originally from Dakota. He was in a high school up there that didn't even have a wrestling program, but he got involved in the sport as a collegian and ended up as a team captain and as an NAIA qualifier. He coached about 10 years in Dakota, then came to Iowa and coached here for 17 years at Lewis Central before giving it up just a year ago. Lewis Central has been strong in our state. He had 2 or 3 championships in Dakota, a couple of runner-up teams in Iowa, and we'd like you to meet our first inductee into our Hall of Fame, Lewis Central former coach Dick Bleff. He's accompanied by his wife Nancy. Our next inductee came out of Michigan, where he was a fine high school wrestler qualifying for the state tournament up there 3 or 4 times. He came to Graceland College in Lamoni and again was a fine wrestler there. A national qualifier, captained the Graceland team a couple of different years. Then he went to Highland of Ainsworth Riverside, and he definitely found a home there because he coached there for 25 years before giving up the wrestling reins a year ago. Gary Curtis won some 191 matches, dual competition during those 25 years. He had one team that placed 3rd in the team race, and we're going to honor him at this time as a Hall of Fame inductee. Gary Curtis, Highland of Ainsworth Riverside, accompanied by his wife, Susan. Our next inductee, Ken Fuchs, came out of Minnesota, but he came to Iowa after college and became a coach. He coached for a period at Creston and at Osage, but then he came to Manly North Central and was the head coach there and is still helping with the NCNK program as co-coach, and he has been a total of about 25 years in the coaching profession. And Ken has had some outstanding wrestlers. In fact, something like 13 out of 14 years, he's had somebody in a championship match. He's had great success through all those years. It's a pleasure to honor him as a Hall of Fame inductee. From Manly North Central, NCNK, Ken Fuchs, accompanied by his wife, Janie. In all the long history of our state tournament, we've only had 44 who have won 3 state championships. And when this gentleman became a 3-time winner, I think we only had about 22 that had won 3 titles. And by the way, he barely missed becoming a 4-time champion because as a freshman, he was a state runner-up. So, a runner-up and then 3 state championships for Lisbon. He went on to Iowa State, was a letterman there for 3 years for the Cyclones, and did very well for Iowa State on the mat as well. Now residing in Dallas, Texas, we're very happy that he was able to join us this evening to be honored as a Hall of Fame inductee from Lisbon, Jim Lord, and he's accompanied by his mother, Mary. Our next inductee was a wrestler at West Waterloo High, finished 3rd in the state tournament, went on and competed at UNI, and then he went to Gilbertville Don Bosco, and he's been there ever since. He has won over 300 dual meet matches. 4 of his teams have won state team titles. At one time, his teams won 73 consecutive dual meets. Need I say more than that? A tremendous career by Coach Dan Mashik of Gilbertville Don Bosco, accompanied by his wife, Linda. Our next inductee knows what it means to be a champion because he was an all-state football player on a state championship team, and he won 2 state wrestling titles on 2 state championship teams at Emmetsburg. Rich Stillman, another of our 3-time state champions, now still residing in the Emmetsburg area. Another of our 1995 Hall of Fame inductees, outstanding football and wrestling star from Emmetsburg, Rich Stillman, accompanied by his wife, Pam. We're very sorry that Greg Randall could not be with us this evening. one of our four-time champions. Greg is now an assistant coach at Boise State and is, of course, very involved with the wrestling program there at this time. He was unable to be here. But a four-time champion, there haven't been many of those, you know. He competed for Mount Vernon and did a tremendous job during his high school career. Went on to the University of Iowa, was a Big Ten champion, and placed as an NCAA runner-up a couple of different times on Iowa national championship teams. So we'd like to honor him this evening, and here to accept on his behalf another pretty good wrestler, his brother Steve, who won a couple of state championships, also at Mount Vernon, and also his sister Cheryl Booter. So how about a hand for Greg Randall for being another of our Hall of Fame inductees. It's coaches and competitors like this that make it all go. How about another big hand as they depart for our Hall of Fame inductees, 1995. We talked briefly about the Iowa Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association. They're a real growing outfit. Started out a few years ago, and after kind of a slow start, they've grown and grown and have many members now, over 1,000. And each year at our tournament, this group honors some of their own. The Iowa Wrestling Officials and Coaches Association vote for their own Coaches of the Year, Junior High Coach of the Year, and Official of the Year. We have some officers from that group to present the awards. This is Jim Steyer. Step forward, Jim. He's the Executive Secretary from State Center West Marshall. Wes Creason of Indianola is the current president of the group. Rich Gray of St. Charles is the Vice President, and the Secretary-Treasurer is Tom Horton of Dubuque-Wahlert. Okay, here are the honorees for 1995, selected by the Wrestling Officials and Coaches Association. The 1A Coach of the Year, 14 years of coaching, 5 years at Columbus Junction, and as you know, if you've seen the team standings, they're right on top this year. From Columbus Junction, Coach of the Year, Bill Pleen. His assistant coaches, Andy Milder, Tony Milder, and John Siegel. The 2A Coach of the Year has been at Clark Osceola 9 years. He's approaching 100 dual meet wins now. They also are in the top 3 or 4 in their class in this year's tournament. So meet the 2A Coach of the Year from Clark Osceola, Rod Gall. His assistant coaches, Gary Ridout and Scott Wilkin. Next up, the 3A Coach of the Year has been at Manchester, West Delaware for 5 years, almost 100 dual meet wins. And you might recall in 1991, the state team title, the state dual team title by West Delaware, and honored this year as Coach of the Year in 3A, Coach Scott Litterer. His assistant coaches are Sean Danker and Chris Lenz. You know, these outstanding varsity programs don't just occur overnight. It takes a lot of building, and a lot of that is done at the lower level. So our Junior High Coach of the Year, to be honored this year, has been working with young wrestlers in the middle school at Bettendorf for 38 years. He's averaged some 50 squad members each of those years. That's what makes the varsity programs go at a later date, that kind of dedication at the lower levels. Here's our junior high coach of the year from Bettendorf, Tom McCutcheon, accompanied by his wife, Ann. The official of the year, selected by the Iowa Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association. A former wrestler himself at Clarion, where he was a state runner-up, later went to UNI, was an All-American 4 times and a national champion. He's been officiating. This will be his 7th state tournament officiating experience, and he's been selected as the Wrestling Coach of the Year from Clarion, Keith Poolman, accompanied by his wife, Jody. I don't want to make you Charles City people unhappy. He lives in Charles City at this time, originally from Clarion. How about another hand as they depart for our honorees, Coaches of the Year, Junior High Coach of the Year, and Official of the Year.
Our congratulations to all of tonight's award winners. We'll be back with our first weight class in just a moment. And we're back again for the Iowa Public Television's 24th year of coverage of the high school wrestling championships. And I'll tell you what, modesty will forbid you saying it, but I will say it, that Greg Randall, who went into the Hall of Fame tonight, you were his coach all 4 years, right?
Well, yeah, I was, and it was just an enjoyable experience. In fact, it was appropriate, since Greg couldn't be there, to have Steve and his sister Cheryl accept it, because Steve and Greg were 2 of the most coachable young men you could ever have. 6 titles between them, and let me tell you, when Greg was a freshman, I still saw Cheryl whip him, and so it was really appropriate to have Steve and Cheryl out there, and it's just a great family. Sorry he couldn't be here, but what a thrill to have him jump into my arms to win that 4th title.
Okay, well, I'll tell you who else you can't beat. You can't beat our veteran floor reporters, Dean Borg and Dick Trotter. Let's go to Dean first.
Well, thank you, Doug. I'm going to be covering the AA and single A match tonight, and at 103 pounds, I'm going to start right off with a very emotional match. Jay Field, who's a senior from Woodward Granger, seeking to become a state champion as a tribute to his father, Dennis Field, who died of cancer some 5 years ago. His dad had coached wrestling for 19 years, so he really grew up with the sport, and he's going for a state championship tonight against a real challenge against the #1 ranked and unbeaten Travis Brand of Interstate 35. And then in AA at 152, a rematch of a district contest between Marcus Kurtz of Davenport Assumption and Shane Bourne of Wilton. More than a grudge match there, it'll be a real war. My colleague, Dick Trotter, has some comments too. Dick?
All right, Dean, we're going to watch mostly the big schools 3A in the lower and the upper weights. One of the more exciting matches of the night will be Eric Jurgens as he goes for his 3rd consecutive title, and he'll meet Mark Ryle of Fort Dodge, who's also going for his 2nd title. That'll be at 119 pounds. And of course, we're going to see the likes of Will Kelly of Dubuque-Wahlert going for number 3. Dave Kilgard of Lewis Central Council Bluffs goes for his 2nd. Jason Crooks of Fort Madison, who knocked off a possible 3-time winner, will be going for his 2nd. And Andy Kruger of Sioux City tries to become the first wrestler from Sioux City ever to win 2 state titles.
Always exciting and unpredictable.
Every year, Dean.
Doug?
Thank you, gentlemen. And those, as I say, veteran floor reporters, we've worked together for almost all those 24 years. And we wanted to take a look again at the rotation to show you what we have, because all of the mats are busy at the same time. 1A, 2A, and 3A. Iowa High School Athletic Association 3-year rotation. That's how it looks. 2A's first for 4 weights. Actually, we're going to make one change because there's a 4-timer possible at 125 in the 1A's. We're going to shift over there just to see that one. 3A's in the middle, 1A's up above, and then there's a 13th weight, so we'll take that one when it comes, a heavyweight, 275 pounds. And we'll, again, try to keep track as much as we can about what's going on in the other matches. It's impossible to carry all of them at the same time. Just doesn't work, and it's impossible to make everybody happy, but we do the best that we can, and the Iowa High School Athletic Association has been terrifically cooperative in seeing that we work this out fairly. And as I say, we're going to start with the 2As at 103 pounds. A young man from Waukon and a young man from West Liberty will be in this first match. Cannon Grothgut of Waukon and Nick Marin of West Liberty, both juniors.
Well, Nick Marin's down from 112, where he was a state champion last year, and he's at 103 this year. And it's interesting because he couldn't beat out Brian Bothell, his teammate, at 103 last year, so he goes up to 112, wins the state title. Now Bothell's at 112 this year, and Nick's back down to the weight he wants to be, going up against a real tough opponent, like you said, from Waukon.
Now, Nick Marin's coach is Kurt Deemer, and Cannon Grothgut's coach is Tom Childs at Waukon. The referee, by the way, will be Arlo Flegge of Waverly. Arlo is something of a VIP. He's also the chair of the Board of Control, Iowa High School Athletic Association. Try to set you up on who is who here. The wrestler on the right in the blue uniform is Nick Marin of West Liberty. But Grothgut is in on the leg, and it's called
Stick in the middle
stalemate. 2 minutes in the first period, 2 minutes the second. There is Grothgut right back on the same leg again.
Grothgut, he wants to turn something around. He was second in the sectional, second in the districts, and here he is in the state championships after not winning either of the sectional district. He would like to turn that around.
Now Marin is trying to lock up a cradle on defense. It's more than defense.
Okay, no improvement. Let's go, both up.
Official Arlo Flegge says it's not getting any better for either man, so we'll start over again with about 45 seconds gone in the first period. You know, in high school, if you're used to watching the college weights, high school, no riding time. That's the difference. First period is 2 minutes instead of 3.
Let's have a little action, guys. Let's go.
No score yet. Arlo Flegge refereeing Cannon Grothgut in the white top from Waukon, and Nick Marin in the blue from West Liberty. And again, Grothgut's in on that leg.
Well, that was the third time he was in. He was tough. He got his hips underneath him, and he brought Nick Marin right down to danger zone.
And he has him on his back maybe for a near fall. Let's see what happens. Has it been called yet?
It hasn't been called yet, and they're saying he's not past the 45 degrees that you need to be past to hold him to get the points. No points for the back. So it's a big takedown, though, 2-0 for Cannon Grothgut.
He shot that leg 3 times and finally scored.
He's got armbar on tight there, Doug. He just drove it hard.
Grothgut all fired up here in this final against Nick Marin. Has his man in trouble.
Very
That's a near fall, and it could be worse. How much time? 20 seconds. 20 seconds to go. That's a 2-point near fall, making it 4-0.
We talked about Nick Marin being last year's 112-pound state champion, but Cannon Grothgut is no stranger to placing in the state tournament. He was 6th last year at this weight class, 103.
Back to the center. Boy, it's a big start by Cannon Grothgut.
Green, your choice. Green defers. Over to you, Red. Red takes down.
Marin has had the better record this year, but he ran into a buzzsaw in that first minute and a half or so. We have that first period, the second period. Marin is up. Grothgut starts under, leading 4-0, and he's out already, 5-0. A big start by Cannon Grothgut of Waukon, going for the state championship at the 103-pound level. We're watching the 2As first for the first 4 weights. Then we'll go to the 3As and finally to the 1As.
Let's get something going here.
Second period, we have 20 seconds gone. Marin has not been in there. He's not scored yet. Again, that leg, Tim.
Yeah, he gets in on the leg very well, and the thing he does is he keeps shooting him. Look right here. He's up to his feet. Now he just has to finish. He's got his hips underneath him. Now he's going to try to slip that arm out and come up with a takedown. But if Marin can keep his head stuffed, he might be able to stay out of danger.
Over at 1A, we have Travis Brand of Interstate 35 Truro, undefeated, wrestling against Jay Field of Woodward Granger for the championships. And at 3A, Josh Budke of Cedar Falls is up against Gabe Capps of Indianola for the title. We'll keep you informed about what happens over there on those 2 matches. But the main match here in the rotation system is 2A. Cannon Grothgut in the white top of Waukon leads 5-0 over Nick Marin of West Liberty. Both juniors, both back in the, and again, Grothgut hits him with that high single leg on the outside.
West Liberty had a great year this year, and they won every tournament they were in during the regular season, and Nick Marin started them out the right way, and Coach Kurt Deemer and West Liberty are real excited about the program that's developed there. 19-1 dual meet record this year.
Classic whizzer hip lock position, and the called off and brought back to the center with about 35 seconds to go. And again, Grotgut for about the 6th time is in on that left leg. And Marin has not been able to stop it. And even when he does stop it, it wastes a lot of time, and he's behind 5-0.
Come on, fellas, let's go.
So Marin's going to have to come up to something here.
Well, he's been there before. He's a champion, and champions don't quit. And
again, that leg.
That's what he's going to have to come up with, is not allowing him to get past the arms and into the leg right here. We've got an injury
potentially
right here
dangerous, and the man who leads 5-0 is the man who's hurt.
Well, the big guy coming out there is Coach Tom Childs, who's no stranger to this tournament, because he was a heavyweight double placer in 87 and 88. He placed for 4th and 3rd.
Well, let's see if we can find out what happened here. You're looking at that long single leg. The last two, actually, Grotgut was down low and a little bit out of position on this. And we'll see what happened, if we can.
I couldn't
may have been the knee. It's hard to tell. But anyway, the man being attended to is Cannon Grotgut. He's leading 5-0.
And then on the other mats right now, those interested in the 1A, Jay Field at the end of the second period is down 4-2. Nope. He got reversed with 1 second left in the second period. Now it's 6-2 going into the third period in favor of Travis Brandt from Interstate 35 Truro over Jay Field from Woodward.
And at the 3A, it's the young man from Indianola who's up 5-0 here. Gabe Capps over Josh Budke. Now we're ready to go again. Cannon Grotgut leading 5-0, goes to work again against Nick Marin in the second period. And Marin has some work to do. If he's to pull this one out, he has 10 seconds to go in the second period at 103 pounds, the championship of Iowa in the 2A class.
What has impressed me is the physicalness of Grotgut.
Yes.
He's a very physical 103-pounder and has used that against Marin.
Well, he doesn't waste any time either. As soon as that whistle blows, he hits Marin in the left leg.
Okay?
Arlo Flaggy talking to them.
Right there.
There's the end of the second period, and it's 2 minutes yet to go. 2 minutes to settle his first championship of the night. Marin goes under. He'd like to get out and get a point and then go to work some other way to make up 5 points.
Got a long road to hoe there, but he's going to...
Boy, Grotgut's flattened him out.
That's right. And, you know, he says his favorite move is a double armbar. Well, we saw him use that in the first period, and so Nick Marin probably wishes he had seen what we saw as far as, you know, the papers that show us what they like to use. And look at there, he's got an armbar on the far side.
Right, do it right, take him down.
But now it's the first point for Nick Marin. He's out, but he trails by 4. And again, Grotgut goes right on that left leg and goes to the double, but the whizzer is saving Marin at the moment. Still, he can't score when he's in that position. Oh, here comes Marin trying to lock up a cradle. But it was broken, and there's still no scores.
Neither one do anything. Let's go.
Marin is going to have some lightning strike here in just a moment.
Got to do it right now. Minute 13 left, and he's got to get after it and needs takedown and back points.
I think that's the longest after a whistle that Grotgut has taken without a shot. Marin had the front headlock position, but Grotgut leads by 4. We're less than a minute away.
Nick Marin trying to work a Calais or a fireman's carry right there, but just can't get underneath the physical Grotgut.
Grotgut got an underarm spin.
If Marin can stick his leg in there, but he's not going to be able to.
Not yet. Maybe he's going to try again.
Nothing there. Nothing there.
Grotgut's in a pretty fair position when he's leading by 4. And he's on the leg. This is the right leg. Out of bounds. No score, and we have only 25 seconds to go.
Come on, 24
Grotgut
seconds
in the white top from Waukon. That close to a championship, leading by 4 points over Nick Marin, who won a title last year, but has not been able to dent Grotgut yet. We're counting down to 10 seconds. Looking pretty good for Grothke, I'd say, Tim.
Yes, he's really controlled this match the whole way. He did not let Nick Marin get his offense going. He took it away by initiating his own.
Now watch your head.
Boom, they crack heads when they dive like that. But it's Grothke, there it is. The first champion we've crowned tonight goes to walk-on. Cannon Grothke, a junior, wins his 29th match of the season, and it's the biggest one over Nick Marin.
And the story that so many Iowans have read in the different papers and about the Field brothers, Jay Field ends up a runner-up. Travis Brandt is the champion, Interstate 35. He won 8-2 over Jay Field from Woodward Granger.
And we'll see something else about the 3A in just a bit. Our floor reporters will keep track of what's going on and get the scores to you. Now the 103-pound class is just the first of 13 weights here on the Iowa Public Television live coverage of the high school wrestling championships. Let's go to Dean Borg for a floor report.
Well, the young man I told you about earlier, Jay Field, who was seeking as a tribute to his deceased father to become a state champion, gave instead the tribute of being a runner-up tonight. He lost 8-2 to Travis Brandt of Interstate 35. He had, that is, Jay Field scored a reversal. That was his 2 points. And otherwise, it was a takedown and a near fall. And 2 reversals for Travis Brandt, scoring an 8-2 victory over Jay Field. So Travis Brandt is the champion at 103 in Class A. Dick?
Dean, a real surprise. Well, not so much. The sophomore gave the freshman a lesson at 103 here in the beginning tonight, as Josh Budke of Cedar Falls, shown here, won a technical fall 16-0 over his opponent, the freshman Gabe Capps of Indianola. Now back to you, Doug.
All right. Sorry if I gave you a little misleading information there, looking at the red and the green on the scoreboard. But congratulations to our 3 first champions at 103 pounds here in Veterans Auditorium. You see the look of disappointment on one face and the look of happiness on the other.
It's going to happen a lot tonight.
Yes, it is. But, you know, they're always going to be close to something else, because they'll be around other years. Now we're going to 112 pounds. And here comes a name that you know in wrestling in the state, if you followed it very much, Chase Zapital of Centerville, going for a championship at 112 pounds of the AA against To Vongpanya of Fairfield. Coached by Dave Messerly. Mike Holupnik is the Centerville coach. The official here is Marv Ryland, former wrestler, and his son Mark was a wrestler at Iowa, and he lives in Iowa City now. He's the official out there watching Zapital against Vongpanya.
Of course, Zapital, the name, he's the little brother of Chad Zapital, who was a several-time All-American for the University of Iowa at 118. And Chase was a state champion in 1993, 2 years ago. He beat Doug Schwab, who's in the finals tonight for Osage, at 103. But last year he was upset. He did not place. And now up against a person that he's wrestled several times.
Since they're both wearing black uniforms, I want to tell you how you tell them apart. It's Chase Zapital with the white knee pads there. He has his back to you. Okay, now the other matches are here in this situation. Jared Greiner of Pekin Packwood is wrestling Jason Cassidy of Truro Interstate 35. Truro has Interstate 35 has wrestlers in both the first 2 weights in the title match. Neither man was ranked this year, and they're out after each other. At 3A, it's Chad Wickman of Manchester West, Delaware, undefeated. His coach, Scott Litter, was the coach of the year. And Robert Rivas of Des Moines East is his opponent, coached by Gary Rourke. We'll keep track of those for you as we go. Now let's watch Chase Zapital and To Vongpanya. Zapital has not scored in this match. Vongpanya has not scored. They're locking up. They've gone about 1 minute and 20 seconds in the tie-up position here. Neither man quite getting what he wants to go.
These two are meeting for the 3rd time this season. Vongpanya beat Zapital in the Big Red Invitational at Centerville, but Zapital beat Vongpanya in the district tournament. Zapital, like we said, is in the finals for the 2nd time. 2 years ago, a state champion at 103.
And Vongpanya is in against him. He is a senior from Fairfield. Zapital's also a senior. sometimes in these lower weights, the 103, 112, you'll find underclassmen, but we've had 2 seniors here. Now they're going back to the center. At the end of the first period, the choice goes to Zapital. He says, I'll defer, and I'll take my choice in the third period.
We need some more action.
Wongpanya says he wants to go on his feet. Doesn't want to go down on the mat. He wants to start up. Nobody did anything here in the first period. No score.
That was Coach Dave Messerly there, looking on to his young wrestler Tove Wongpanya, who got here he didn't have an easy road. He beat a defending champion, Ben Shirk from Wilton, on the way to make it here. So he's already beaten one champion, and now he's going up against a champion from 2 years ago in Chase Zapital.
Now that was his shot there. There was Wongpanya trying the single leg, but it was from too far out, and Zapital countered it. Now Zapital is working off the 2-on-1, the so-called Russian tie-up.
Zapital says he knows where he's going to school. You want to take a guess?
Well, let me see. His brother went where?
Yeah, you got it.
What's the name of the state?
He says he's going to Iowa.
1 minute and 15 seconds to go here in the second period. No score again. Wongpanya was the man who went under. Zapital stops him with a double underhook here. But the referee, Marv Ryland's going to call this a stalemate.
Gentlemen, let's have some honest attempts.
Now, that's just what I might have said.
Yeah, that's interesting. These two, like I said, have wrestled already twice this year, and Zapital lost the first match 8-1, but then he turned around and won the second match 6-2, so they both dominated each other one time this year.
And they're both being very cautious.
Back up.
Wongpanya has made a couple of shots underneath, but they have not been really attempts that he likes, because they were from too far out, and Zapital easily fought him off. I shouldn't say easily, but without any noticeable damage.
No matter what happens here, Wongpanya has left a legacy at Fairfield High. He's set the school records for the number of wins in a career and in a season. So he gets his name on some trophy cases, or is on some trophies in the trophy cases.
35 seconds to go. We can't always show you the clocks because there are separate clocks for each mat, and it's very difficult to do that. Get the angle on the shot, but there's the first shot by Zapital, the first one he's actually taken, a nice duck under, and he's behind Wongpanya with the first 2 points of the match.
You're down, Green.
2-0 with 15 seconds to go, second period.
Yep, he got behind Wongpanya with a real nice takedown there and goes ahead.
So Zapital starts on top. He has, let's see, 17 seconds here. Wongpanya wants to escape before the period ends. Zapital would like to shut him off.
Still down. Get all the fingers.
You know, it's not only this year, Doug, but last year they met 3 times, and with Zapital winning 2 and Wongpanya winning 1. So this is the 6th time they've wrestled each other in the last 2 years.
And this one for a state title, 8 seconds to go.
Nice job of action by Wongpanya, and reaction by Zapital to save a point for himself because Wongpanya was out.
And that's nicely done. Zapital did what he wanted to do, shut his man down.
And there's
Mike Halupnik,
coach of Centerville. They've had some great the program has done great in the last few years. And
now in this period they start even up too, because Zapital had his choice and he wants to start up, so they're both confident on their feet.
Yeah, they like it on their feet. They like to be on their feet, and they'll take neutral. And they've been doing this against each other the whole time.
2-0 in favor of Zapital, who got his man out of position and scores the second takedown.
Right, actually, what happened there is Wongpanya went in and tried to do a little fireman's or Kelly there, and Zapital did stop him, you know, just with a real stuff right there, and got Wongpanya out of position and went ahead. 4-0 now.
And that was an interesting situation, and it was important for Zapital. Now Wongpanya has 1 minute and 21 seconds to do quite a bit. He has to make up 4 points.
Well, on the 3A,
get them all.
We had a big winner with Chad Wickham, who took his record from 40-0 to 41-0 from Manchester, West Delaware. Coach of the Year Scott Litter has a state champion with a fall in the finals over Robert Rivas from Des Moines East. So the champion on 3A has a fall.
And at the 1A match, Jared Griner of Pekin Packwood is ahead 12-2 over Jason Cassidy of Truro Interstate 35. Now Vongpanya underneath trails by 4, and Zappatil is covering him just right up to there with a minute and about 53 seconds to go. First point for Vongpanya. He trails 4-1, and he's going to have to do some shooting, but he's not in good position to make that kind of an attack. He's too far out, and Zappatil is covering him very well. 40 seconds.
Back up.
Zappatil ties up with Vongpanya, leading 4-1 here in the third period of the championship match at 112 pounds, recovering the 2As through the first 4 weights. Actually, the first 3, because we're going to cover 1A at 125 to see if Jason Keenan of Ogden can win his 4th state championship. Vongpanya coming straight in without the angle, has been stopped very well by Zappatil, who now leads 4-1 and is trying to come around behind for another takedown. He's got it, 6-1.
He's been slick on that,
and it's almost over.
State championship.
Nicely done by Zappatil. He controlled Vongpanya after a scoreless first period.
And over on the 1A mat, unranked, Jared Greiner, after 10 losses this year, really brings it home and wins the big one for Pekin Packwood with a 12-2 win over Jason Cassidy from Truro Interstate 35.
And we're going to get the awards now at the 103-pound class, so you can see perhaps your young man up on the stand. 103 pounds, 1A.
The Class 1A 103-pound awards, Coach Randy Calvert of Truro I-35. 6th place, Mike Elliott, Mount Vernon. 5th place, Kyle Canoyer, Oakland Riverside. 4th place, Ryan Friedrich, Riceville. 3rd place, J.D. Pugh, Columbus Junction. Runner-up, Jay Field, Woodward Granger. The Class 1A 103-pound champion from Truro I-35, Travis Brandt.
Congratulations to Travis Brandt. 1A champion at 103 pounds. A little shy, you know, you don't always smile. He's got a great big smile inside, I know very well. But we Iowans, you know, you kind of keep it close to the vest.
Speak for yourself.
Presenting the Class 2A 103-pound awards, Coach Tom Childs of Waukon. 6th place, Jerry Stinn, Harlan. 5th place, Greg Cruikshank, Tama, South Tama County. 4th place, Joel Baker, Mediapolis. 3rd place, Zach Weiglin, New Hampton. Runner-up, Nick Marin, West Liberty. And the Class 2A 103-pound champion from Waukon, Cannon Grotgut.
Grotgut did everything he meant to do tonight, and he won the championship at 103 pounds. Very nicely done, Cannon. Now we'll go to the 3A's 103-pound awards. Coming up on the stand right now at the end of Veterans Auditorium, which is filled to capacity and the biggest turnout ever for 3 days.
Awards, Coach Gene Doyle of Cedar Falls. 6th place, Mark Juergens, Maquoketa. 5th place, Bob Koenig, Spencer. 4th place, Matt Lepick, Iowa City West. 3rd place, Dan Sample, Cedar Rapids, Washington. The runner-up from Indianola, Gabe Capps. And the Class 3A 103-pound champion from Cedar Falls, Josh Budke.
Josh Budke, the 3A champion. Congratulations to the Cedar Falls young man. Let's go to Dean Borg for a floor report.
Well, Doug, as you said just a few minutes ago, the record during the year doesn't mean much as long as you're in the state championship and you win it. And that's what Jared Greiner of Pekin Packwood did tonight. A 12-2 decision over Jason Cassidy of Truro Interstate 35. And there you see that hand being raised. He's a state champion, Jared Greiner of Pekin Packwood. Dick?
All right, Dean, we're going to watch Chad Wickman now as he throws his opponent, Robert Rivas of Des Moines East, to the mat. It was an exciting match. There you see him on his back with 1 minute and 34 seconds left in the contest. It was Wickman giving his coach, Scott Litterer, the 3A Coach of the Year, the first championship of this night for the state title at 112 pounds. All right, back to you, Doug.
Thank you, Dick Trotter and Dean Borg. With Tim Johnson, I'm Doug Brown. We're covering live the Iowa High School Wrestling Championships. We're at 119 pounds now with 3 divisions of school size going at the same time. We're covering in the first 3 weight classes here, the 2As, which is the middle size, and a familiar name again. Isn't it? You were talking about family and fraternity and that sort of thing earlier. Boy, some of the same names come back year after year after year, don't they?
Well, yeah, and I'm seeing that a lot of them are sons of people that wrestled with me, and you know, it's just amazing.
It's amazing, and I bring it up because in this AA match from Osage, Iowa, which has been a famous wrestling town for decades, here is Doug Schwab. Now, you've heard of a few Schwabs before come out of that school. Mike and Mark.
Well, in fact, Doug was warming up with the family sweats worn by Mike and Mark when they won state championships.
And they're here tonight to see him wrestle.
I just laugh and I hope he washed them.
Well, we'll see. Corey Stanley of Wilton is his opponent, and Wilton is in the hunt for the title, and Wilton has Stanley, an undefeated wrestler. Neither one of these young men has lost this year, so the winner is the state champion. The loser will have his first loss of the year. The official is Jim Christensen of Greenfield.
You mentioned team race. This is a big match for Wilton. They're still in the hunt. All they have to do is win 2 more than the team that's winning right now, Davenport Assumption. They both have 3 in the finals, so it's a big match.
1A is Jimmy Rogers of Oakland Riverside against Tim Baker of Clarksville. And at the 3A, we have Eric Juergens of Maquoketa going for his 3rd title. He's never been beaten in high school against Mark Ryle of Fort Dodge, who has lost once. And that's a big one, too. We'll keep very close tabs on those matches. No score here at the 2A 119 between Schwab in the green and Stanley of Wilton in the blue on your right.
Center, gentlemen, center.
We have a microphone on each of the referees in our TV matches, so you can hear him talk to the wrestlers. It's been something we've done for years, and it makes a lot of difference when you can hear what they have to say.
Doug Schwab is trying to win the family's 6th state championship. Mark won 4, of course, and Mike won 1, and this will be the 8th time a Schwab boy has been in the Class 2A finals. So Mike was in the finals 2 times, and of course, Doug was a runner-up 2 years ago at a 103. He was knocked out of the tournament competition last year at the sectionals because of a shoulder injury. And between Schwab and Stanley, like you pointed out, their combined record is 70-0.
70 and zip this year. How is the shoulder of Schwab this year? There's the shot taken by Stanley. It's from a long ways out, and Schwab is across the back in defense. Doesn't look like any points are going to come out of this one.
You know, I don't know the answer to that question about his shoulder. I've heard it's hurt and everything, but you know, he's got a lot of guts, and it's not gonna have any effect on him tonight because it's just a matter of one more match, and he knows what he wants and going after it. You know, and I'm sure the Wilton young man right here, Stanley, knows exactly what he needs to do out here for his team.
Well, he's working for his team as well as for himself, and Corey Stanley, coached by Steve Shirk, Doug Schwab by Bruce Gast. Oh, look at a beautiful move that comes out in favor of Schwab. It could have gone either way.
Big move right there.
It's a 2-point takedown.
We could have an exciting one right here. Only a junior, both of these.
Let's take a look at that.
We got 15, gentlemen. We got 15 seconds. First period.
Now, actually, what happened was Schwab initiated, and Stanley reacted real nicely, and then Schwab rolled through. So it was great action, reaction, action.
Just keep going. That's what you have to do, Schwab. On the edge.
Nice whizzer for an escape,
and it got
only
Stanley
2
up.
seconds left.
Stanley made a point right at the end of the first period, as Tim said. Boy, that is so important to get those points on the edge of the mat and at the end of a period.
There's Bruce Gast, Osage coach, and really has had a great, done a great job at Osage, both as assistant head coach for several years.
Stanley couldn't quite reach Schwab with a single leg, so Schwab is working hard with the front headlock in the counter. That's what happens, you know, these days when you go under wrestlers. It's one of the moves that the front headlock has become such an important weapon in wrestling. You know, the things go in trends as the years go by. Now if you go underneath and you don't quite make it, that front headlock can wipe you out.
Look up here, look at me,
Both
over
of
here,
these young
Red.
wrestlers like to be on their feet, and Corey Stanley, he got his 100th win already in his career as only a junior, so he's really doing some great things for Wilton. We talked about Bruce Gass a little bit in the Osage tradition. They won their 17th consecutive North Iowa Conference title this year. Bruce himself, there's Steve Shirk.
Somebody has been cut a little bit, and they couldn't figure out which one it was for a second. Now I believe it's Stanley, so he's gone over to be cleaned up. They have to stop to cover that.
There's Steve Shirk. He's 21 years as a head coach, 16 at Wilton, and he's really got a team vying for their first state title here tonight.
Got it? He's got it on the side of...
Schwab and Stanley going for the 119-pound championship at 2A class in the 1995 High School Wrestling Championships, live from Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines on Iowa Public Television.
You gotta have offense,
For the
fellas.
24th year of coverage. Another try by Stanley from outside, and Schwab counters it. Not enough, though. He was not able to score with it. He still has the top position there in that situation.
Well, like you said right here, Schwab is controlling the head right here in the elbow, just trying to find a way that he can stuff the head, get around. Stanley's wasting a lot of energy underneath.
Oh, he changed his mind and went into...
Whoa, was that close?
That was close, because Stanley would have been in trouble there.
Big time trouble. There's
50.
Mike. There's Mike Schwab right there, older brother of Doug. I know sitting right beside him, close to him, is Mark Schwab. The brothers are back to watch their young brother try to win his first state title. Second time in the finals for Doug Schwab.
Well, Mark, you're talking about face down an injury. Mark, of course, had to work against one of the worst injuries you've ever seen for an actual working wrestler. When he had a knee that was damaged so badly he couldn't even bend it.
Had several operations and still was an All-American.
Come on, fellas, let's get some
Northern
offense.
Iowa
Let's go.
in NCAA's twice.
Doug Schwab in the green of Osage. Stanley again took a shot from outside, and it was countered by Schwab across the back. Schwab leads 2-1 with 15 seconds to go in the second period. And can Stanley make something out of this?
He's trying to come around, and if he can hook the leg, he's
He
gonna
did.
He does.
And he takes the lead over Schwab of Osage, 3-2. We
This
have
is
3
important right
seconds.
here. He needs to hang on. He does hang on. Oh, Schwab gets away for one.
He did count it. He
Big
made it
1
before
point.
the time
There's
ran
Mark
out.
Schwab, 4-time state champion from Osage.
3-3 now.
Here's the take. Now here's the scoring for Stanley, and he comes around real nicely, breaks the arm there of Schwab, gets the 2, and there's only about 7 seconds left. But watch Schwab come up, hips underneath him, gets away for 1. Big point because it's 3-3 now.
Now it's 3-3. The choice goes to Stanley, and he will start underneath. So Schwab.
And in on 1A, it's all tied up with a little more than a minute left. 4-4, all tied up at 1A. Jimmy Rogers from Oakland versus Tim Baker from Clarksville, all tied up 4-4 with a minute left. And on 3A, it's 14-3 in favor of Eric Juergens over Mark Ryle with only 25 seconds left.
Juergens going for his 3rd title. He's never lost in high school. If he wins this year, he can become next year a 4-time champion. Looks like he's on his way here unless something happens in the last few seconds. Now this one is now 4-3 because Stanley escaped. Starting the second and third period. We have a minute and 30 to go. And Schwab of Osage in the green. And Stanley of Wilton
There you go.
in the blue.
Let's go here.
Both undefeated are trying to settle the state championship at 119 pounds, 2A class.
We got to keep it in the middle, guys. We got to keep it in the middle.
Stanley started a little slowly, you might say. But now, if anybody's been controlling it in the last few seconds, it's been Stanley.
A nice shot by Schwab right there, but Stanley puts a lot of pressure on. He's got long arms right there, and his arms is really putting the pressure. But Schwab did a nice job of getting to his feet.
Trying to keep him in now to get the takedown. It's very important for Schwab. If he gets a takedown, he'll take the lead. But he doesn't have it yet. We have a minute to go.
What Stanley's going to try to do is keep the pressure on Schwab's shoulder, stuff the head, and keep it for a stalemate. Schwab has a chance if he can pull it up. Stalemate.
Stalemate. Jim Christensen says it's not going to improve.
There's the brothers, Mike on the left, Mark on the right. Who's more nervous, Doug or Mike and Mark?
Well, at least Doug can do something about it because he's wrestling. Now he can take out his tension in some way. 45 seconds to go. 4-3 in favor of Stanley in the blue. And he takes the shot, but Schwab stuffs the head. Can he score with 40 seconds to go? Looks like he can.
He does. Well, he hasn't called it. No. Stanley's done a nice job here of reacting to the pressure. And
yes, Stanley did it. He never quit.
Boy, he didn't. He kept going.
And he leads 6-3. Well, the score says 6-5. And it may have been the reversal.
Work it!
6-5 in favor of Stanley with 5 seconds to go.
So they gave 2 takedown and 2 reversal.
Yes.
Wow, but Wilton wins it.
But Stanley wins.
Coach Steve Shirt gets his first of a couple more that he needs for Wilton. Stanley wins the championship.
Good match, guys. Leg bands.
Doug Schwab comes up a runner-up for the second time in his career. Still has another year to try to get to the top.
Let's have the awards at 112 pounds on the 1A first.
Awards, Coach Terry Northcutt of Pekin Packwood. 6th place, Chris Goodwin, Lisbon. 5th place, Matt Corbett, Cedar Rapids, LaSalle. 4th place, Britt Marloff, Columbus Junction. 3rd place, Rick Schweitzberger, Kingsley Pearson. Runner-up, Jason Cassidy, Truro, I-35. And the Class 1A 112-pound champion from Pekin Packwood, Jared Greiner.
Congratulations to Jared Greiner. And to all 6, in fact, who won medals here at the 112-pound class in the Class 1A.
And Jimmy Rogers from Oakland in 1A beat Tim Baker from Clarksville 12-2. We didn't update that, so congratulations to Jimmy Rogers.
Presenting the Class 2A 112-pound awards, Coach Mike Kalupnik of Centerville. 6th place, Matt Hackbart, NCNK Manley. 5th place, Seth Bonson, West Lyon, Inwood. 4th place, Pat McLaughlin, Grinnell. 3rd place, Ryan Cunningham, Forest City. Runner-up, Cole Bonpagna, Fairfield. And the 2A 112-pound champion from Centerville, Chase Zapital.
Not the first time that a Zapital has been at the top of the stand. Chase, the 2A champion there, 112 pounds. Remember, we have coming up next here, 125-pounder. We'll see Jason Keenan of Ogden going for his 4th title, trying to become one of the 4-time champions. And you can be here to watch it live.
Presenting the Class 3A 112-pound awards, Coach Scott Litterer of Manchester, West Delaware. 6th place, Mike Harrison, West Des Moines Valley. 5th place, Matt Nelson, Fort Madison. 4th place, Jamie Allison, Fort Dodge. 3rd place, Ben Barnes, Johnston. The runner-up, Robert Rebus, Des Moines East. And the Class 3A 112-pound champion from Manchester, West Delaware, Chad Wickman.
And that was a champion who won with a fall, Chad Wickman. Let's go to Dean Borg for a floor report.
Sophomore Jimmy Rogers of Oakland Riverside gave his opponent an escape in the 2nd period for a 4-4 tie and carried that 4-4 tie well into the 3rd period, but then got a stalling point, an escape, and a takedown, and he scored an 8-5 decision over Tim Baker. Jimmy Rogers at 119 is the champion. Dick?
All right, Dean, with me now is a young man who just made a little bit of history, Eric Juergens of Maquoketa, the state champion, who had little trouble in disposing of Mark Ryle of Fort Dodge 16-4. Eric, it looked easy.
You know, he was a good kid. I mean, all the matches have been hard, and he was just as good as the rest of them. It was a tough match.
And what do you got in mind to plan for next year to make it number 4? What are you going to do this summer?
Work extra hard, keep doing what I have been doing, you know, lifting weights and that sort of stuff, keep in shape.
You have your own plan tonight when you went out there in the first period?
Yeah, our plan was no matter what, either he score or me score, but get points going so the match opens up.
And there was little trouble there.
Not, yeah.
No trouble whatsoever. Okay, now let's get back to Doug.
Congratulations to a 3-time champion. Now we're going to go to the 1A mat. We're going to change our rotation here because one of these young men, Jason Keenan, is going for his 4th title at 1A at 125 pounds. He's from Ogden, undefeated, against Eric Hart of Coon Rapids, Bayard, and Kirk Davis coaches Eric Hart. Brian Reimers coaches Jason Keenan. Reimers, Hart is in the black, Keenan in the blue. And he's trying to throw right away. A headlock, but he...
Whoa! Here he's coming back. Oh, boy.
Fished in troubled water there. He wants to throw right from the start. He's obviously courageous on his feet.
Yeah, I just want to say back there where I reported that Jimmy Rogers beat Tim Baker 12-2. Obviously, it wasn't that. It was closer than that, 8-5. My apologies for giving you wrong information. And 8-5 champion Jimmy Rogers over Tim Baker.
Keenan with a 2-0 lead goes right into a cradle to try to end this fast for his 4th title.
Well, I'll tell you.
There it is. Boy. He didn't spend a lot of time wrestling.
All right, I didn't see you bleeding.
I know the...
I gotta go both ways with you. Congratulations. Yeah.
Well, an emotional moment for a 4-time champion, Jason Keenan of Ogden. His coach told us earlier tonight that there was a lot of pressure on him. You know, everybody wanted to talk to him, interview him, push, and he was hoping that the young man, he said, I think he's going to keep his head and do well.
Well, I was talking to Bruce. I can identify, and you're just glad when it's over because as a coach you feel, listen, I've got a responsibility to get this guy his 4th title also. I've been with him all this time.
Let's go to the 2A mat. Now we can get right back in the rotation again, fast as that. In the 2A match, we have the coach's son, Jason Halupnik from Centerville, against Ben Scorpel of West Liberty, coached by Kurt Deemer. And the blue is West Liberty. Halupnik leads 2-0 with just a second left in the first period. There it is. That's the end of the first period. And it is Halupnik up by 2 points, 2-0.
And in 3A with 30 seconds left in the first period, the score is 4-1 in favor of Nick Flack from Fort Madison over Scott Vance from Charles City.
Ben Scorpel in the blue. That's Ben from West Liberty. Trails 2-0 to Jason Halupnik. We said he's the coach's son. Mike Halupnik, of course, is the head man at Centerville. He just had a state champion in Chase Zapital, and he wants to get another one here with his own son, who looks to be pretty well in charge. At the start of the second period, he starts on top and keeps driving right at Scorpel. He kept him from getting to his feet, went down to the legs when he had to stop him, and then comes back up into the position that the official is going to make him come back to.
Well, Mike and Jason have been together for a long time here at the state tournament. This is the 4th appearance at the state tournament for Jason Halupnik with his dad, Mike, as the coach, who's been there 17 years at Centerville.
The official here, by the way, there actually is an official and an assistant referee. Arlo Flegge is the assistant. Doug Manley of Akron.
There's
the 3A, Tim.
3A, it's 4-2 now. 4-2 still in
Scott
favor.
Vance and Nick Flack. Scott Vance of Charles City against Nick Flack of Fort Madison. And the man who is in the top position there was Nick Flack of Fort Madison.
Up 4-2. And in this match, Jason Halupnik still in control. Defending state champion at 119 last year as Halupnik won that. Scorpel was
That
a
was a
runner-up
pin.
last year at 125.
What we just saw there, we couldn't tell by the crowd, it was a pin.
Right.
And so Nick Flack wins over Scott Vance on a fall.
Boy, we're seeing more pins than I've seen in a long time in the state finals.
Well, we've had 2 so far at 125 pounds. And this one is a Donnybrook between Ben Scorpel and Jason Halupnik. 35 seconds to go, second period.
Scorpel trying to scoot out here, see? Trying to scoot and come on top and
he
get the 2
reversed.
reversals. Good job, persistence right there. He just kept coming at it.
And it's 2-2 with 20 seconds to go. Scorpel in a good position here near the end of the period. Halupnik's going to have to really hustle to get out before the time is up, because Scorpel has the crossbody ride, has the arm on the far side, the leg in, and it's going to run out before any more points can be scored. Okay, there's the end of the second period at 125 pounds between West Liberty, Ben Scorpel in the blue, and Jason Halupnik down below in Centerville. And Halupnik has something of an advantage here if he can get out, because he has a chance to score a point for an escape. But Scorpel is going to work on top to try to hold his man. It's a 2-2 score. We're in the last 2 minutes going for a championship at 125 pounds.
Well, here comes Jason Halupnik, and he scored a lot of points this year. He's a part of a trio that all surpassed 100 wins. Chase Zapital, Jason Halupnik, and Ryan Stevens all won more than 100 wins in their career this year. The 3 of them have won over 300. They won 377 matches in their high school career. So Mike Halupnik's going to hate to see that trio go. There's Kurt Deemer, West Liberty. Coach, he's, like I said, he's got the town of West Liberty excited for wrestling in that program there.
They had to start over again because there was a potentially dangerous situation on the angle of the knee on Scorpel. So Doug Manley set them up again in the center with 1 minute and 10 seconds to go, and Scorpel stays on top, but it's a 2-2 match. Does he dare stay up there and try to ride the man out? Or he must be going to try to turn him, but Halupnik's doing very well on the bottom now. There's no such thing as riding time, of course, in high school.
Right here, Scorpel needs to keep it stuffed and get a stalemate right here so he can start all over and then decide what he wants to do. That's exactly what happened. Stalemate, and now a decision has to be made. Well, you know, you get the opportunity to ride out and go into overtime. There's Mike Halupnik there looking on as he'd like to see his son Jason come out and score, possibly for the state championship.
Halupnik got to his feet, but he didn't have hand control, and so Scorpel was able to bring him right back down to the mat again. Barring the arm on that near side, he's riding tough. I wonder if he can ride him out. He's going to try.
Certainly going to try. I'll tell you, he's banking on it. He'd like to turn him. Or
that's courageous.
He's got the over and under and barred, looking for it.
You take the chance of losing a man when you try to turn him over. On the other hand, that's what you're here for.
He just did it. And he's got, it's close.
He's getting a near fall.
And he's going to get a state championship.
I'll tell you, now that's something to go in the last period.
He went after it,
and ride and get it.
Ben Scorpel, he goes after it and he wins the state championship. That's called getting after it and getting it.
It really is. That's impressive. A 3-point near fall by Ben Scorpel of West Liberty, the state champion in the 2A division at 125 pounds. Impressive.
Certainly was. There's a young man that said, you know, he could have hung on and tried to go to overtime. He said, I'm going to try to win it here, and he did. Strong move.
Right. Or he could have said earlier, I don't think I can hold this guy. I better let him up. Right. And they try to take him down. Well, no, he had a lot of confidence in himself, and he wins the title. Let's go to the PA for 119.
Sixth place, Jeremiah Mullins, Aldo Aurelia. Fifth place, Corey Musser, Lisbon. Fourth place, Thad Anderson, Logan Magnolia. Third place, Travis Morrow, Lake City, Southern Cal. Runner-up, Tim Backer, Clarksville. And the Class 1A 119-pound champion from Oakland Riverside, Jimmy Rogers.
Jimmy, the state champion. Can't take that away from him. He's the best in the state at his weight. That's the 1A award stand for 119 pounds. Up come the 2A, the middle-sized schools, if you will.
Presenting the Class 2A 119-pound awards, Coach Steve Shirk of Wilton. 6th place, Brian Kirchhoff, Humboldt. 5th place, Nick Haynes, Pella. 4th place, Andy Thompson, Clear Lake. 3rd place, Gabe Kelly, Osceola Clark. Runner-up, Doug Schwab, Osage. And the 119-pound Class 2A champion from Wilton, Corey Stanley.
That was a terrific match that Corey Stanley won over Doug Schwab. One of them had to lose. The first loss for either man this year. Stanley over Schwab for the title at 119 in the 2A division. Now we're going to see the 3A winners, and to the top of the stand, a 3-time titleist with a possibility next year of becoming a 4-time champion.
Presenting the Class 3A 119-pound awards, Coach Jeff Tampier of Maquoketa. 6th place, Lannis Jordan, Waterloo East. 5th place, Chris Nelson, Spencer. 4th place, Nick Mitchell, Johnston. 3rd place, Casey Doyle, Manchester, West Delaware. Runner-up, Mark Ryle, Fort Dodge. And the 119-pound champion from Maquoketa, Eric Juergens.
A 3-time champion, Eric Juergens, who can go for 4 next year. He's never lost in high school. Let's go to Dick Trotter for a floor report.
All right. At 125 pounds, Nick Flack of Fort Madison becomes the state champion with his decision. It was a decision until he caught Scott Vance of Charles City on his back. There was just 1:35 seconds left, and here you see it, as tight as it can be. And your state champ, Nick Flack of Fort Madison. Let's go to Dean.
There aren't very many 4-time champions. I'm standing next to Jason Keenan, and he's won. Jason, congratulations, first of all. But over the years, has the weight changed that you prepare for a state championship match?
I don't believe so. I think I just kind of set it in my head, and, you know, I just mentally go over the match every time I wrestle, and I do that no matter where I'm at, whether it's a dual meet or a tournament, or if it's down here at the state meet. It's just the same thing.
Where do you go from here with that wrestling career of yours?
I don't know. I know I got a few days of resting for a while, and after that I might hit it hard again, or I'm not sure where I'm at right now.
Now, did you have the same coach all 4 championships?
Yes, I did. Brian Reimers, yes.
What do you say about the importance of a coach to win a state championship? What does he do for you?
Without him down here, I would there was no way I could ever make it. He showed me ways to get around pressure and everything. It's super.
Oh, good. Let's go back to Doug.
Congratulations again. There's a 4-time champion. It's Jason Keenan of Ogden, Iowa in the 1A division. We're going to 130 pounds now. We just keep right on rolling along in this live coverage of the State High School Wrestling Championships. We're at the 3A division now. You're going to see a new mat. This is the 3As for next 4 weights, 130 pounds to 45. Willie Kreil of Oskaloosa wrestles Josh Dorothy of Mount Pleasant. And these are 2 undefeated.
Right. This is Oskaloosa's first wrestler in the finals in the history of their school.
And Willie Kreil of Oskaloosa made a good start. He's the man in the white top. He got the takedown at the beginning in the first 30 seconds, and he now is pushing Josh Dorothy very hard in that ride position.
Josh Dorothy has qualified the last 2 years. He hurt his back as a freshman, had to take himself out of the tournament, and then he finished 4th last season at 125.
Gene Luttrell of Waterloo, by the way, is the official, the head man on this mat. And his assistant will be Dwight Spangler. There's the escape, and Dorothy gets his first points of the match. 2-1 in favor of Kreil on the left. Dorothy is in the dark uniform. Kreil has the white top. He's from Oskaloosa. 38-0 against a 34-0.
Both wrestlers only juniors. Willie Kreil qualified as a 9th grader and didn't win any matches, but as a sophomore last year, he won 2 matches but didn't play. So here he is in the finals for Oskaloosa, and they're proud of their young man tonight. Like I said, first time ever a finalist for Oskaloosa.
And Kreil has started very strongly. He had a takedown. His second one, he leads 4-1. Now 4-2 after the escape.
Nice shot by Josh Dorothy there. He likes being on his feet.
That's his first shot, really. He just beat Kreil 2 at that time, and he's liable to tie it up here unless Kreil can do something that
To green.
There's the takedown, 4-4.
And that's where Dorothy likes to be. Dorothy's better on his feet than on the mat. And actually, Cryle, he's a tough on top, and he's a real goer, but he likes to be on the mat a lot. And so the secret for Dorothy is to get these takedowns.
Actually, that score is 4-4. You saw 4-2 there. It's tied. And Josh Dorothy starts on top, goes to a tight waist, but he can't keep Cryle from standing up. Still continues with the tight waist.
Second period, guys.
That's the end of the first period.
Red.
First 2 minutes are gone, 4-4.
Red, you defer. Red defers to green. Green.
Cryle had the choice. He defers to Dorothy for this period, the second period. Cryle will have his choice in the third. And Dorothy says, I'll go down because I think I can get out.
And at 1A, with 1:24 left in the second period, the score is 2-0 in favor of Josh Meyer over Jared Keith. Meyer from Denver over Keith from Eldora.
And Dorothy did get out. He was out in nothing flat. So now the lead is Dorothy's for the first time, 5-4 over Cryle. But here comes Cryle. Oh, nothing came of that, but Cryle was looking for a pin.
Right, he stuffed the head right there, and he's working on the head, trying to find something from the front headlock, trying to spin around, something shuck. Just trying anything there. He goes one way, action, reaction, you know, a little misdirection right there. If you're wondering right now on 2A, it's still 0-0 with 54 seconds left in the first period.
Now that time he slipped off the headlock, and Josh Dorothy jumped around and got the takedown, reversal, 7-4. A 7-4 lead for the man in the dark uniform on top. In a high-scoring match, we have a minute to go in the second period. Nothing dull about this.
Hey, you know, to be fair now, I just found out that Mount Pleasant, this is their first finalists also. We have Mount Pleasant, Oskaloosa, having their wrestlers for the first time ever making it in the finals.
That's Josh Dorothy. He starts on top.
Watch on. Now that was
okay, he's going to try to drive his man over. He's not sitting on top there and doing nothing. I'll tell you, they've each in the upper position have gone after each other hard.
This is a rematch from last year where Dorothy beat Cryle in the consolations last year to place 11-4. So they met last year, and here they are in the finals.
Cryle is out, and it brings him within 2 points, 7-5 now. That was Cryle's 5th point. Cryle jumped out in the lead, but he's now trailing 7-5 with about 18 seconds to go in the second period.
And after the second period, beginning the third period now, the score is still 2-0 in favor of Josh Meyer from Denver over Jared Keith from Eldora. There was Paul Foster. That's the coach of Oskaloosa. Paul's been there for 16 years. And he's loving what he sees now.
Now he has Dorothy on his back. He's tied it up here with a takedown, and he's still trying to put Josh Dorothy on his back. Ran out of time.
7-7.
So 7-7 going into the last 2 minutes here.
Hey, Red.
We're going to look at 3A team standings here. Cedar Rapids Prairie, you haven't seen any of their wrestlers yet, but Cedar Rapids Prairie has been doing very well. Willie Cryle underneath. He had his choice, and he took under to try to get out.
Oh, he's got an arm bar, and he's
but he has to get out. That's the trouble.
I'll tell you,
on his back.
He does. He's in a tough situation right here. If he can settle in, he could ride there the whole period.
That was almost an illegal head scissors.
He knew what he was doing, and he didn't get it done. I mean, he didn't
almost
do it. But he got some points there, and but Cryle did a nice job of coming off. Now he's got some new life.
And Dorothy is still pumping with 1 minute and 25 seconds to go. He leads 9-7. Things have blown hot and cold for each man here.
Cryle does a nice job there of lifting up Dorothy there and keeping him from putting him on his back again. And now he comes around, and Dorothy does a nice job of coming back and hanging on. Pretty soon a stalemate. There's a stalemate.
Stalemate. I was going to say that it was beginning to look like a bad angle on the knee, too. 1 minute and 3 seconds to go here in the third period between these high scorers, Willie Kreil of Oskaloosa and Josh Dorothy of Mount Pleasant, undefeated. Josh Dorothy on top, leads 9-7. And again, he stops Kreil's first move, but not the second one. They're in a mat position with 50 seconds to go and a scramble.
Stalemate, let's go. Don't just hang in there, son.
At least Kreil would like to make it a scramble. He hasn't been able to do it because Josh Dorothy's been handling him pretty well there. 9-7 in favor of Dorothy.
We got
40 seconds.
That's right, 40 seconds left, and
now with a
Kreil
spiral
just
ride.
needs to come off and get it. Whoa!
Here.
Oh,
yes, here comes
reversal.
Here comes Kreil.
And he's driving. He's driving. He's got the far wrist.
9-9. With how much
driving.
time? 25 seconds.
He's got to
This
watch
would
it.
be big. This would be big. If he can put Dorothy on his back.
What he's got to watch right here is to know what time is left and take.
Yeah, because an escape.
With Dorothy doing a great job of keeping himself off his back. 5 seconds left.
Looks like more and more like an overtime. And there's the end of regulation time. They're going to have to go overtime.
You got overtime, sudden death.
Overtime.
Ready?
They'll go 2 minutes. And the first man who scores wins. And in goes Dorothy right away. The first man who scores wins. And this is the 3A championship. Now, a counter by Kreil on top. He scored a couple of times with this.
Oh,
he looks like he's got it. He might be able to pin him.
He could pin him right here. They'll let it finish. He's won the match.
Yes, he's won it, but now he has to
pin
and there
it.
it is. He wins by a fall in overtime.
Big fall. Paul Foster, Coach Paul Foster gets a big win with a fall for Oskaloosa, their first state champion. Congratulations.
Nice job, Jen. Great match.
Boy,
Great
that was a topsy-turvy one, wasn't it?
Oh, man.
Kreil the winner.
Oh. And there Foster pins Kreil.
Yes, I was going to say Kreil got the pin, got a takedown, but he's coached reversal there.
Well, Foster's been there a long time. He's put in a lot of hard work, and I just really, my congratulations to him. Here comes the fall right here, where Dorothy was in on the leg, and Kreil just came over the top and neck wrenched him right there and settled in for the fall.
He's got the chin, you see?
Yep.
Bam. How about that? They were both undefeated going into that match. It's the first loss for either one. Overtime. There's the one that knocked the chairs down. Sometimes it's more dangerous off the mat than it is on.
And Josh Meyer wins 4-3 over Jared Keith in the 1A. So Denver beats Eldora 4-3 for the championship.
And we're still going at 2A. This is Justin Jeffs of Winterset against David Mara of LaPorte City Union. And there is the score by David Mara.
This is only the second period, you said, because there was an injury timeout.
And there's no score. Well, that should be a score there. That's 2.
It's 4-0. It's 6-0.
I'm looking at the wrong. Yeah. I'm looking at the scoreboard on the screen, and that's not this match, right?
Right, 6-0 in favor of Mara.
I have a very attractive young lady between me and the scoreboard, and I don't know whether to be unhappy or not.
David Mara from LaPorte City leading 6-0 over Justin Jeffs from Winterset.
And Mara is in the up position 6-0. Looking tough. He's 32-2 coming into here. His coach is Dick Ingvall. And here's the reversal by Justin Jeffs to make it 6-3.
Justin Jeffs, the second winningest wrestler in Winterset history, 143 wins. Of course, he's second to Gary Christensen, his coach's son, Corey Christensen, who is only one away from being the winningest wrestler in Iowa history. So that's quite an accomplishment for Jeffs, being the second winningest wrestler in Winterset history.
6-3. The man on top is Justin Jeffs. Is that the score? 6-2, 6-2. The referee is Bill Rotes, who sang the Star Spangled Banner tonight in the beginning of the show. Bill Rotes of New Hampton. Now it's 6-4 after that. 6-4 in favor of David Mara in the up position. He's in the all dark uniform.
No.
Oh, yes, that's right. Jeffs is up, but Mara's leading 6-4. Jeffs in the up position is going to have to make some points by putting his man on his back, maybe.
Whoa,
there he is. He's getting near fall points.
He's got him tight, and if he can come out with a headlock, which he has, he's trying to elevate the leg there.
He's trailing 6-4 with a minute left to go, but he has a near fall, which should put him ahead.
7-6.
7-6, a 3-point near fall for Mara, or for Jeffs. Justin Jeffs with 49 seconds to go. That's called a stalemate. 49 seconds to go in the last period. This one's been a give and take match too. And you see Jeffs into the tight waist. He was able to put Mara up on his back. Now you see him working hard for a crossface there to try to run his man over to the back again, working on the near wrist. He does have Mara quite flattened out. He's dominating here and leading with 25 seconds to go.
Well, he's doing a nice job. Spiral ride right here. He knows he rides, he wins. 19 seconds left, and he's ahead 7-6. He's doing a good job near wrist, breaking down, keeping the hips down flat.
Time is running.
There's
10
no
seconds.
explosion left in
David
Mara.
Looks like Jeffs
big
is
win.
do
What
it.
a comeback. What a comeback. From 6-0 to 7-6.
Isn't that something? He scored the last 7 points and won the state championship for his winner set team and for himself and for his coach Gary Christensen, and probably you could name a lot of people.
Well, that's
Jeffs
the mark of
over
a
Mara.
champion. Yeah, sorry about that.
Let's see that near fall again. Maybe we have Tim have a chance to look at that one more time.
Here he is on top as Jeffs looking for it. Now sticks the leg in and comes across face right there, and then catches a reverse half around the right there and settles in, and then headlocks.
Let's go to the 1A awards at 125.
Mark Van Beek of Rock Valley, Jarrett Herkey of Grettinger. Due to a double default in the wrestlebacks, they're tied for 6th place. 4th place, Benji Weingarten, North English, English Valleys. 3rd place, Nate Trees, Green. Runner-up, Eric Hart, Coon Rapids Bayard. And only the 10th 4-time state champion from Ogden, Jason Keenan.
4 times.
Crowd on his feet, full house at Veterans Auditorium. A lot of applause for him all over the hall. Jason Keenan. Crowd sits down again after congratulating a 4-time champion. Now we go to
Presenting the
double A.
Class 2A 125-pound awards, Coach Kurt Deemer of West Liberty. 6th place, Jarvis Whittinger, Cresco Crestwood. 5th place, Bob Gonczarowski, Washington. 4th place, Mike Corsiglia, Davenport Assumption. 3rd place, Jamie Schmock, Rhinebeck, Glidebrook. Runner-up from Centerville, Jason Halupnik. And the 2A 125-pound champion from West Liberty, Ben Scorpel.
He won a terrific match. You were just with us a few minutes ago with Jason Halupnik. Well, actually, we had Jason Halupnik up on the winner there was Ben Scorpel, not Jason Halupnik. So the graphic was not accurate, but
Presenting the
Ben
Class
Scorpel
3A
has the
125-pound awards, Coach Mike Riley of Fort Madison. 6th place, Jamie Gibbs, Epworth, Western Dubuque. 5th place, Matt Pence, Cedar Rapids Prairie. 4th place, Steve Rodriguez, Johnston. 3rd place, Dan Casey, Clarinda. Runner-up, Scott Vance, Charles City. And the Class 3A 125-pound champion from Fort Madison, Nick Flock.
and another winner. That's the 3A winner at 125 pounds, Nick Flack. Let's go to Dean Board.
Well, Tim, as you said, Josh Meyer of Denver is the champion. He's still unbeaten, 33-0. He came into tonight's match against Jared Keith of Eldora, New Providence. He had his hands full, though. He was the #1 ranked wrestler in the state by Predicament Magazine. Had a takedown in the first period, carried that 2 points into the second period, had an escape there in the second period by Jared Keith. But then another takedown in the third period, despite 3 escapes by Jared Keith, and Josh Meyer pulled out the championship 4-3. Jared Keith is the runner-up. Back to you, Doug.
Thank you, Dean. Dean Borg and Dick Trotter are doing our floor reports, keeping track of what's happening on the matches we aren't able quite to reach. We're going now to 135 pounds, and we're at the 3A weights here during the middle. Boy, we have another of these outstanding young wrestlers here in Will Kelly.
Will Kelly can do it all. He's going for his 3rd title. And I'll tell you, when you talk about somebody that's good on your feet, you can do it with a capital F-E-E-T. And there's Dan Gable. I'm sure he's interested in Will Kelly.
He's from Dubuque Wahlert, and his opponent is from Marshalltown. His coach is Phil Henning. This is Chris Lucan. Chris Lucan going up against Will Kelly. As you said in the opening tonight, Tim, Kelly's been all over the world. He's been good enough to wrestle in lots of foreign countries already. Kelly of Dubuque Wahlert is on the left in the blue against Chris Lucan of Marshalltown, who was unable to score on an outside shot. The referee, by the way, is Larry Blaker of Perry.
Go, guys.
In the 1A division, we have Fritz Beyer of Griswold undefeated against Corey Davis of Wapsie Valley of Fairbank undefeated. 80 wins apiece between them this year, 81. And in 2A, it's Joey Beaver of Knoxville against undefeated Greg Breeding of Winterset. So Winterset continues in there. No score here at 3A between Lucan in the red from Marshalltown, Will Kelly of Dubuque.
Go!
See Will Kelly come in. He changed his levels real well, and he was in on the legs. Then he came up and was looking for that half, and forearm just to throw him over there for the pin, and they went out of bounds.
Go, guys.
Out they go. Larry Blaker will bring them back in again. Chris Lucan, coached by Phil Henning. Will Kelly by Tom Horton.
Well, front headlock by Will Kelly. Coming around, trying to come around the side, hook that leg for 2 points. If he can slip the head, he does.
2-0.
Like I said, he's a takedown artist. He's going to stay on his feet as long as he's allowed to, and if he can pin him from the feet, great.
Two-minute first period is about
That's how you use the arm.
30 seconds from ending here.
That's how you use it.
2-0 in favor of undefeated Will Kelly.
Undefeated the last 3 years, Doug.
91 straight wins, and that's something.
That's how you use it.
Against some pretty good competition, too.
Got the arm bar right here, then he throws the half to the other side, putting a lot of pressure. When you're on the underneath there and somebody's got an arm bar and jumping from side to side and you feel that pressure, it's scary, because now all he's trying to do underneath, Lucan, is not get pinned. And then you can't wrestle your best.
Right. You just have to stay flat.
That's right.
That's the end of the first
Green
period.
man,
2-0 in favor of Kelly.
Goes you, Red.
And in 1A, it's 2-0 with 24 seconds left in the first period in favor of Corey Davis from Wapsie Valley over Fritz Beyer from Griswold. And in 2A, it's 2-1 in favor of Joey Beaver from Knoxville over Greg Breeding from Winterset with only 13 seconds left.
Well, as soon as the whistle blew to start the second period, where Lucan decided to start up, Kelly took Lucan down. He got a lead 4-0, and now he has
You're out of bounds.
almost
You're
his
down,
third
Green
takedown, 4-2 now.
What do you think? I didn't think there was 2. I thought there was 2. So you think it's still Red? I think.
Listen to the referees discuss.
Neutral. Okay, we're going to go neutral. We're going to go neutral. No points.
No points
No
scored
points.
here. The referees discussed and decided together that there were no points. Any points there? And you see that, whoa, that arm coming through. They're saying that Lucan did not have control, that Will Kelly was coming out slowly, but coming out all the time. And Phil Henning's not quite convinced.
No.
Not quite at all, and I think he's...
Phil's no referee.
Right.
We've seen him referee many times. national man here on Iowa Public Television's college wrestling.
Neutral.
Okay, neutral. 4-1 is the score. 4-1 in favor of Kelly in the blue from Dubuque Wahlert.
Kelly was controlling the elbow right there. Then he stuffed the head, and he likes to work the head a lot. Look for openings, drop underneath. Like I said, has great hips.
Minute and a half to go in the second period. 4-1, Kelly. As you can tell, he's very confident on his feet.
Stay inside, red man.
Now, I think that if Lucan had his brothers, he'd take that move back and do something else, because he got a little bit out of position on the edge of the mat, and Kelly gets his third takedown, 6-1. Kelly up 6-1 with a minute and 5 seconds to go. That's Chris Lucan. As you say, Tim, he goes side to side on top. You don't know where he's coming from next. Has the leg in.
Use it. Keep it flat.
As we said, Kelly has had a lot of national honors. He's a cadet national champion and a two-time state freestyle champion. And he loves to work the arms when he's on top. Look at, he's got the far arm right here, and he's trying to force him over. Steps out in front. When you see a young man step out in front and then he try to whip over, didn't work, but you know that they're full of confidence.
Yes. You're listening to Tim Johnson, and I'm Doug Brown on Iowa Public Television.
See, that was hip action right there. Lucan really had the move right there. He was coming up for a reversal, and all Will Kelly did was just used his hips well, knew where his body was, came right back on top.
Tough crossface by Kelly. Wanted to bring the knee up and cradle him. Take the head back down to the knee. See him?
Go, guys.
But we're at the end of the second period now. 6-1 in favor of Will Kelly.
And in 2A, it's 6-2 in favor of Greg Breeding from Winterset over Joey Beaver from Knoxville going into the third period.
On their feet again. The man on the right leads by 5, 6-1. 24th annual coverage of Iowa High School Wrestling Championships on Iowa Public Television. Another takedown for Kelly. 8-1 now.
You watch how you use
69th annual state championships here for the Iowa High School.
I mean, we missed 40. We missed 45 of them, huh, on TV. Well, I suppose 69 years ago there weren't too many TV sets. We'd have had a rather small audience.
Here he's got an armbar tilt. He's got the far arm trapped.
Here Larry Blaker count. He got a 3-point near fall by counting the 5.
Coming across, trapping the near wrist, an arm bar, and then coming back, sitting through for a tilt. Making it 8-1 with only a minute left.
It's actually 11-1 now.
11-1 with a minute left.
Keep it flat now. Keep it flat.
Boy, he has a lot of control there on the top. Sits on top like he's saying, come on, you show me what you want to do because I'll react to it.
He didn't mind going up too high.
Got a red man, we got to work down there. Red man, you got to stall him.
Very dominant. The official called Lucan for stalling. You know, what I see right here is a very overpowering young man named Will Kelly, and I don't know whether the young man was stalling underneath. He's just trying to survive.
Potentially dangerous.
Okay.
You know, one of our favorite trivia questions that many wrestling fans know all about is, we're talking about that 69 years, that very first team, we always say, who was listed as the coach for Marshalltown High School that year they won the championship?
Yeah, and I'll tell you, there's not a trivia person out there that hasn't seen it would ever guess it.
That's right.
Adolph Rupp.
The man is Adolph Rupp, who was a coach at Kentucky in basketball for legendary years.
And Rupp Arena is not used for wrestling, I can guarantee you that.
Is that right? Not anymore. Okay, here's Kelly on top, 11-1, and the match is just about to end. He has won his third championship.
Oh, congratulations. What a dominant wrestler. Will Kelly, 3 state titles.
Shake hands, guys.
He has defeated Chris Lucan, 11-1 here.
Go around the other side.
In the 3A 135-pound class, which we're bringing to you live on Iowa Public Television. We still have a little time left.
And Winterset gets their second state champion in a row here, with Greg Breeding winning it for Winterset over Joey Beaver from Knoxville, 8-3.
And now we're going to go to 1A, Tim, because that one's still going with 1:50 to go in the third period. The leader, 6-0, is Corey Davis over Fritz Beyer. These are undefeateds, both men, 81-0 between them. Somebody has to have his first loss of the year.
Fritz Beyer, one of the winningest wrestlers in the history of the sport here in Iowa, and kind of having it not go his way right now.
Well, that's something.
Coached by his dad, Steve Beyer.
Corey Davis,
up coached by his dad, Chris Davis.
Yep. Isn't that something? Father-son teams on both sides of the mat here. And this is Davis of Wapsie Valley Fairbank. The official, by the way, out there is Dwight Spangler from Bettendorf. And Davis doing a dominating performance on top, leads 6-0 with just about 1:10 to go. We've done 2 135-pound matches that are already done. The 3A, which we showed you and complete, was won by Will Kelly for his 3rd title. Earlier, you know, tonight, Juergens won his 3rd title from Maquoketa, can go for 4 next year, and Jason Keenan became a 4-time champion.
Corey Davis doing a nice job of controlling up until this point, and now you got Fritz Beyer. Oh.
That is an illegal hold. Yes, I think he did call him for a headlock without the arm. Or I should say a head scissors, and I think there's a disagreement between the officials on whether that actually happened. You have to, if you're going to put the figure 4, the scissors on the head with your leg, you have to have the arm in it. And he didn't, but I'm not quite sure he had it locked up. We'll see. That's Mike Allen discussing it with Dwight Spangler.
Here's a replay right here. Fritz Beyer coming out, looking to kind of finish it like a Granby. So he comes into the position, and to stop that move, we've got Corey Davis hooking the head illegally, according to Dwight Spangler. 1 point, but really, it worked if they put, it will be interesting to see what happened here. If they call it reversal for Beyer and a point, now we're 6-3, and that's what it is.
Yes, it is.
3-point move, 3-point shot there in the wrestling arena here.
Yes, it was.
Now it's 7-3. Beyer says, I got to let him go, and I got to win it on my feet.
But Davis is in quick. He has the takedown. He has the leg in, and it's dangerous, says Dwight Spangler. I don't like that position, so he's going to bring him back to the middle again. 9-3.
Quickly, 3 points for Davis right there with an escape and a takedown.
Boy, he gets that leg in a hurry, doesn't he?
That's right. He's a pounder on top.
Corey Davis
does a nice job of really flattening out Beyer right here. Davis does a nice job of riding. He's tough on top.
Did you mention, Tim, that they haven't met this year, but they did last year, and Davis won it. They met last year in the tournament, and Corey Davis was the winner then. He is leading here 9-3 with 20 seconds to go. Oh boy, that one is a tough position.
It's a score. It's a score.
Right from the feet.
Got 2
reversal.
points. He got 2 points back, and then Beyer got a reversal. So 2 points back point.
11-5.
Right. Champion
And
Corey Davis for his dad, Chris Davis, and Wapsie Valley Fairbank.
Corey Davis, a champion, and he finishes an undefeated year. Fritz Beyer loses for the first time in 44 matches. Finishes second. And he had won 157 in a row coming into that one. Let's go to the highlights for 130.
Coach Kevin Shedenhelm of Denver. 6th place, Gene Adams, Riceville. 5th place, Matt Lindholm, Ogden. 4th place, Jake Havoc, Oakland Riverside. 3rd place, Colby Yoder, Belmont Clemmy. Runner-up, Jared Keith, Eldora, New Providence. And the 1A 130-pound champion from Denver, Josh Meyer.
130-pound champion of the small schools, 1As. 6 top place winners. They went through all this season, and they're all medal winners at the state tournament. The
presenting the
live
Class
championships
2A 130-pound awards, Coach Gary
Television.
Christensen of Winterset. 6th place, Matt Stanley, Adel DeSoto Minburn. 5th place, Matt Gogol, Anamosa. 4th place, Ryan Stevens, Centerville. 3rd place, Tom Rubel, West Liberty. Runner-up, David Mara, LaPorte City Union. And the Class 2A 130-pound champion from Winterset, Justin Jeffs.
That's Justin. The winner at 130 pounds in the middle-sized school division, 2A.
Presenting the Class 3A 130-pound awards, Coach Paul Foster of Oskaloosa. 6th place, Matt Madison, Johnston. 5th place, Keith Weber, Dubuque Senior. 4th place, Jared Beard, Ankeny. 3rd place, Brad Miller, Pleasant Valley. Runner-up, Josh Dorothy, Mount Pleasant. And the 3A 130-pound champion from Oskaloosa, Willie Cryle.
Willie Cryle, who wrestled a fun match. It was a terrific match against Josh Dorothy. And he won it in an overtime on a pin. Let's go to Dick Trotter.
Bouts at 140. Class 1A bout. Pat Rupp, Belle Plaine, Bobby
Titles in a row from Winterset, Justin Jeffs, and now Greg Breeding has defeated Joey Beaver by the margin of 8-3. So 2 titleists in a row, and there you see a very happy Greg Breeding after his victory. Now let's go to Dean with a guest.
Well, this is Will Kelly of Dubuque Wahlert, and he has 92 now straight wins.
Yeah, that sounds right.
How do you prepare for a state championship match? Is it any different than all year long?
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure. I mean, this being my last match and all, there's a lot more pressure than the first couple of titles that I won. So yeah, it was a little bit harder to get prepared.
We've got some videotape here, they tell me. Let's take a look at that. There, tell us about what's going on there.
Trying to drive the bar arm over, trying to get him on his back there.
That was key in this match?
Yeah, I wasn't getting on. Yeah.
Congratulations, 11-1 tonight, and Will Kelly, a state champion from Dubuque Wahlert. Let's go back to Doug.
Congratulations to all the winners in the first half of the competition. Be sure and tune in tomorrow beginning at 8 a.m. for the conclusion of the 1995 High School Wrestling Championships. The following is a rebroadcast of the 1995 High School Wrestling Championships. This program was originally presented live on February 25th, 1995.
Funding for this program was provided by members of Friends of Iowa Public Television. 70,000 families helping Iowa Public Television inform, enlighten, and enrich your life. Join them.
Hello, I'm Doug Brown, welcoming you to a rebroadcast of the 1995 Iowa High School Wrestling Championships. Yesterday, we began the first half with the lower weights. Now we're going to continue with the upper weights and conclude the tournament. So, let's get on with the action. We're going to 140 pounds now. We're still with the 3As, and we're going to see a wrestler here that some people, three-time champions and four-time champions, some people say this is the best high school wrestler in the state. Dave Kelgard of Council Bluffs Lewis Central, whose team is trying to get a title, but they're up in the hunt this year. Todd Buckland of Des Moines Lincoln against David Kelgard.
David Kelgard won a championship last year, was 5th as a freshman. He's going for his 2nd title here, and some consider him the best prospect in Iowa, no matter what grade you're looking at, to come out of the state in a long time.
He's on the left in the blue. On the right, he has the white knee pad. The official is Mike Allen of Waterloo.
Last year, Todd Buckland placed 2nd at 130 pounds.
That 1A, looking over there, looks looks like a pin is Pat Rupp against Bobby Forcine. Belle Plains Pat Rupp against Columbus Junction's Bobby Forcine. And at the 2A, it's Eric Fitzer of Wilton, one of the teams in the hunt, against Gavin Bradley of Jefferson Scranton.
They're really in the hunt. That's an important match.
We'll try to keep track of the big major changes in the team scores.
Calgard is very physical, loves the underhook, loves to throw from the feet there. He's just bandit well.
And he
right
throws
there.
Buckland, but it's out of
back
bounds
in.
right now.
Well,
Does he get the two? He gets the takedown because he is in bounds, but you can't pin a man if his shoulders are out of bounds. And now they come back to the center, 2-0 in favor of Calgard. He's had family at University of Northern Iowa on the wrestling team. This is the youngest of the Calgards so far, and he is, as we say, some say, possessed of a very bright future. But here comes Todd Buckland, trying to reverse him. Calgard staying on the leg just as every ounce of pressure he can.
Calgard, only a junior, has a 91-match winning streak himself, and he's something else. He's got the tools.
Yes, he has some really important national championships. He was the junior national Greco champion last year. At the end of this period, we'll show you what the team scores are in the 3A. The big schools, this class right here. Calgard maintains his position of advantage, and he leads 2-0. Although Buckland's on his feet. End of the period. Mike Allen will bring him out to the center again. That's the way it stands in 3A, and Pleasant Valley cannot catch Cedar Rapids because they don't have any wrestlers left. And Lewis Central's too far behind. It looks like Cedar Rapids Prairie has it locked up. And the fight is for second and third, or actually for third and fourth. That's David Calgard.
Okay, Green, your choice. Green pitch
Choice goes to Calgard. He wants to go under to try to get out, to get another point. It's 2-0.
Calgard's really looking for a lot of points. Lewis Central is not mathematically out of this. They have 3 in the finals, and so with big point matches,
they need some pins.
That's right, and they've got to depend on here. But Buckland's got other things in mind.
No points.
Buckland staying in there. He's been tough. Now you see that was the hand control by Calgard. He managed to get hand control coming up, and then he was able to turn in. It's very important. He controlled the wrist out there, and then when he was able to pivot quickly, he got the third point. 3-0.
Todd Buckland was a runner-up last year to Will Kelly. It's a great story. He's currently the foster son of his coach, Mike McGivern, former University of Iowa All-American. And for the last couple of years now, Todd Buckland has been the foster son of Coach McGivern.
As we say, Cedar Rapids Prairie is leading, and they would seem to be top-heavy favorites. But as we say, if all the Lewis Central wrestlers won and they all won pins, they theoretically could make it pretty good.
And there's the man that would like to do it. There's Dave Calgard and his coach, Keith Massey. Keith Massey's been the coach there, head coach for a year. He's been assistant under the Coach Bleth, who went into the Hall of Fame tonight. And he's done a great job there, both as assistant and head coach, coaching David Calgard. And like you said, he'd like to see some big points here, a few pins. And Prairie not winning their final matches could put Lewis Central in the lead. It's a long shot, but it's possible.
But Buckland is tough. You see him going head-to-head with Calgard. He's not backing out of there at all. It's 3-0 in favor of Calgard.
You cannot back up.
That's a warning against Buckland for stepping out. Front headlock position.
That's 2 Green, takedown.
And he made a point out, made a takedown out of it. So Calgard goes up 6-0. He's beginning to get really dominant now with 45 seconds to go in the second period. Calgard.
He's just so physical. He's physical on his feet. He's physical on the mat. Look at the force. He puts a lot of pressure on Buckland there. Gets his hips down, flattens him out, gets him way out of position. And now
he's
just making a lot of action there. And sooner or later, as Buckland's rolling around, he can get caught on his back.
Yeah, he wasn't able to stop him there, but a lot of activity. Kelgard just keeps coming after you, and pretty soon.
Here's one red, green stalling.
Yeah, Mike Allen is very well known for wanting the people to be active. Those are the 1A standings right now. Columbus Junction is wiping them out. They wiped their slate clean on even in the semifinals.
Had 7 come up to the state, and they just did a great job.
Yeah, great week for Columbus Junction. There's the end of the second period, 7-0 in favor of Kelgard over Buckland, the 3A 140-pound championship.
And for those of you in Wilton wondering how you're doing over there, well, there's the standings again we were talking, but the Wilton fans wondering how your young man is doing. Fitzer is ahead 5-1 with only 20 seconds left in the match, and this could be the second of 3 that Wilton is looking to climb back in to the top of 2A.
The match you're looking at now is 3A between Buckland and Kelgard. And we're a minute and a half to go.
And the winner on 1A was Pat Rutt from Belle Plaine, champion 8-4 over Bobby Forcine from Columbus. And Wilton wins another one. Wilton, just so you know,
that really tightens up things.
That tightens things real up. Now they're going to go head-to-head. This is going to be real interesting with Davenport Assumption still having 3 in the finals left.
That's right. We're going to show you the 2A standings here before long, too, so you can get an idea what we're talking about. Oh, there's a trying to carry. Kelgard went under for a fireman's carry and then lost a leg. We have a minute to go. 7-1. That is Todd Buckland. Kelgard, as I think Tim might have told you, has won 3 national cadet championships. And those are national championships.
He's been first in the junior nationals in Greco, and he's looked at by every major college in the nation.
Let's go, get up, let's go, get up.
Has won 1 title. He's only a junior.
Okay, come on.
All right, he is leading 9-1 here with 45 seconds to go. AAA, 140 pounds.
Really look at that pressure. He uses the near rest right there, and then he puts the pressure. He jumps from one side to the other, throws the half. If it doesn't work this way, he's going to come back the other, but it's a lot of good hip action there. Drops down, and you say, well, what's he do that for? Well, he's just trying to create some action because he feels real good in the scramble, and he might be able to catch Buckland on his back and pin him.
20 seconds to go, and an 8-point lead for the man on top, Dave Kelgard of Council Bluffs Lewis Central.
Doing everything he can to try to. What he doesn't want to lose is this 8-point lead now for the extra point.
Watch your leg. Break. Protect the dangerous.
That's right. The major decision, winning by more than 8 points, 8 points or more, adds another team point. So he has to hold.
He needs to know what's going on right there, and he's going to hold on.
That ends at 9-1, a major decision, and a second state championship for David Kelgard of Lewis Central Council Bluffs.
Good job, Big Champ. Good job.
A big win for Kelgard. Stays undefeated this year. And we're going to go for the winners at 135 pounds 1A.
Lorenz Northwest. 4th place, John Gaffey, Pocahontas. 3rd place, Troy Pasenka, Gilbertville, Don Bosco. Runner-up, Fritz Beyer, Griswold. And the Class 1A 135-pound champion from Wapsie Valley Fairbank, Corey Davis.
Getting the medal from his dad. Oh, how sweet it is.
Although he would have taken it from anybody.
It's got to be real special.
Yes, it does.
I hope that someday maybe my son could be up there and I could have that opportunity. I bet every father would love that opportunity.
Now the 2A winners come up, the top 6 places at 100 and
Presenting the Class 2A
35
135-pound awards, Coach Gary Christensen of Winterset.
By the way, the 6th place winner there
Jason
was
Hayden,
from Osage.
5th place, Ryan Sunderbrook, Davenport Assumption. 4th place, Brian Balvams, Marion. 3rd place, Dave Hackman, New Hampton. Runner-up, Joey Beaver, Knoxville. And the Class 2A 135-pound champion from Winterset, Greg Breeding.
Greg Breeding, 135-pound AA champion, 135 pounds. The only man to beat an opponent with electric hair tonight, too, by the way. Special little touch put in there by Joey Beaver of
Presenting
Knoxville.
the Class 3A 135-pound awards, Coach Tom Horton of Dubuque Waller. 6th place, Eric Schmidt, Clarinda. 5th place, Mike Dark, Cedar Falls. 4th place, Tony Scigliano, West Des Moines Dowling. 3rd place, Curtis Johnson, Clinton. Runner-up, Chris Lucan, Marshalltown. And the Class 3A 135-pound champion from Dubuque Waller, Will Kelly.
3-time champion, Will Kelly. What a way to end his high school career. Let's go to Dean Board.
Well, Belle Plaine takes home a state championship tonight. Pat Rupp, a senior, did it for them with an 8-4 decision over Bobby Forseen. He's a junior from Columbus Junction. Rupp dominated the match all the way. 4 points in the first period, and another 3 in the second, another escape. And then he had an 8-4 decision over Bobby Forseen, who had been number 4 ranked in the state. Dick Trotter, what'd you do?
All right, Dean, in the 2A competition in the 140-pound weight class, Eric Fetzer of Wilton wrestled a methodical match to go on to defeat Gavin Bradley of Jefferson Scranton by the margin of 6-2. And there you see a happy young man jumping on Steve Shirk, his coach. And now let's go back to Doug.
And we're going to 145 pounds now on Iowa Public Television's coverage live from Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines of the 1995 High School Wrestling Championships.
There's
Lincoln
a familiar,
McElravy, his wife up there.
His wife Lisa there, and along with the rest of the University of Iowa team, and they've been here the whole time.
Shake hands, man.
145. Excuse me there, Tim. You had something
looking at some
say.
future teammates, probably,
You
as you
bet.
say.
Well, let's go to 145 at AAA. We're still with the AAAs. This is the last one we'll have the AAAs in the rotation this year. Gary Lake of East Waterloo wrestles Steve Blackford of West Des Moines Dowling. East Waterloo against West Des Moines.
Blackford, very talented young man here, 42-1 from Dowling, like you said, coached by Ron Gray, and his 3rd as a sophomore last year. And we have Gary Lake, who has never been to the state wrestling tournament before.
On the right is Steve Blackford. He has the purple uniform, and the black is Gary Lake of East Waterloo.
We did have 2 of them.
And that's a takedown for Blackford. Now there you see the 1A class is stopped for injury, unfortunately. Winthrop East Buchanan's Jeff Kress looks like he's hurt, and Randy Pugh of Columbus Junction is against him. Pugh is undefeated, and his team has won the championship at 1A. Now there's the 2A, Ben Jobson of Davenport Assumption against Scott Kaufman of Emmitsburg. It's another familiar name, Kaufman of Emmitsburg.
Right.
Watch the arm.
Emmitsburg's had some great wrestlers, and Kaufman's winning lots of state championships there about 10, 15 years ago.
Steve Blackford of West Des Moines Dowling in the purple uniform is leading 2-0, and he's trying to turn Gary Lake over now.
Gary Lake, a real workman-like. He's lost 11 matches this year, and here he is in the finals. Got a lot of guts. He just kept coming, and he defied all the odds, and there he is in the finals. And then on the other side, here's 45-1 Steve Blackford.
These people have met 4 times this year already, and Blackford has won every time.
Keep working. Keep working.
We have only about 10 seconds to go in the first period. Blackford looking for back points. No. Potentially dangerous.
You're down.
7 seconds to go.
your knees back.
Lake goes in the under position on the referee's
Stay
position.
steady. Come on, Green.
Updated top 5 team scores. Class 1A. Whiteville.
And Blackford sucks Lake back. He wasn't able to get any back points out of it.
Okay, second period.
The period ends there. Dowling,
Steve Knipp.
Steve Blackford.
There's Steve Knipp, the coach of Gary Lake, Waterloo East. Steve's been there as the head coach for 17 years.
Optional start. Put it on.
We should say, by the way, with the 1A match at 145 pounds ended because of an injury. Winthrop East Buchanan's Jeff Press was hurt badly enough that they had to stop the match. So Randy Pugh wins by default.
Let's go.
Stays undefeated.
An undefeated year. What a great championship for the championship team. Randy Pugh, Columbus Junction.
Looked like Kress had a leg injury of some sort. This is Steve Blackford wrestling Gary Lake. The score is 2-0. And it's 3-0 now because Blackford in the second period escapes right away.
And takes him down right away. He's going after it.
He's got the cradle.
And he's got the arm hooked up. Oh, my goodness.
There it is. Boom.
Ball called by Mike
Exline calls it. And a pin for Steve Blackford, leaving no doubt. He won for the 5th time against Lake this year. And that one for the state title.
Well, Steve Blackford from Dowling, I read an article earlier in the year where he lost a match and he said, I'm going to do everything I can to not let that happen again. And he stayed true to his prediction and his word. And look at this. He catches ahead, puts him in the cradle, hooks the leg, elevates, shoulders down flat, fall.
There was nowhere to go in that situation. Now this is what happened in 1A.
Here's the injury. Randy Pugh goes in on the leg right here. And East Buchanan, Kress goes back and right.
We'll see how this happens.
Yeah, we got to see it all the way through. Right there, just twisted. Twisted the leg twisted a way that it shouldn't go.
They were both undefeated coming in there. 72 wins between them, but Randy Pugh wins. Now we're at 2A between Ben Jobson of Davenport Assumption and Scott Kaufman of Emmitsburg. And that is Jobson on top with a cradle position.
And this is a big one for Assumption. They're looking at their first of 3 finalists.
Oh yeah, they're in the title hunt. Most important for Assumption. And that makes it 10-3. So Jobson is piling it on here with about 24 seconds to go in the second period. That's Jobson in the red uniform, Kaufman in the yellow and black of Emmitsburg. The official is Jim Christensen of Greenfield.
If I've got this right, I think Wilton is ahead by a 1/2 point right now with 1 wrestler left, and Assumption has 3 wrestlers left. So
Assumption came into the finals leading. So Wilton has done what it had to do.
Actually, it's tied.
Tied, huh?
Yep.
Officially tied here.
Officially tied. 80.5 points for both Davenport Assumption and Wilton going into this right here. And so.
And Assumption has wrestlers at 145. Then at 152, they go head-to-head. Kurtz and Shane Bourne.
Big takedown right there by the Davenport. Nope, no points.
10-3. There's a 1.5 minutes to go. We've just started the 3rd period here.
We've been told that it was an ankle injury and that here's your team standings, 80.5 points. Davenport Assumption has 3 wrestlers left in the finals. Wilton has 1, and like you said, they go head-to-head. So this is a big match right here. Whoa! Here's Emmitsburg with a big throw.
Headlock.
And he comes out.
Couldn't work. Got people's attention, though, for a second. And we have a little over a minute to go here. The score is still 10-3 in favor of Jobson. A of Assumption, who is in on the double leg. Boom. 12-3.
Well, he's doing a job for his team here because he's going to put Assumption ahead by more than 4 points going into their head-to-head, making Wilton not only having to win, but having to win by extra points.
Yes, major decision here, the way it's going.
This is a big win and the way to do it for Davenport Assumption. Trying to get their first state title. Both teams going for their first state title in the history of the sport at their school, Wilton and Davenport Assumption.
And you know, the Assumption must really have a booming room at these weights, because Assumption has championship matches from 3 straight weights. Starting here, 145, 152. And then the next weight up to 160.
Emmetsburg behind right here. Kaufman behind by 9 points. Trying to come out and make this less than a major decision for the Assumption wrestler.
18 seconds.
Whoa, but Joachim had something else in mind right here, and that's more points.
Creighton Nice trying to move back to get the pin. He does have the near fall all the way up to 3.
That could wrap up the state title. Not officially, like I said, it puts a lot more pressure on this next match for Wilton. Big championship here, 15-3.
A major decision for Ben Jobson of Davenport Assumption. They have to win coming into these 3 straight weights, and they won the first one. The next one they'll go will be against Wilton. Shane Bourne against Marcus Kurtz of Assumption. Let's go for 140-pound winners.
6th place, Scott Sonberg, Nashua Plainfield. 5th place, Chris Smith, Sumner. 4th place, Chad Spink, Mobile, Woodbury Central. 3rd place, Joe Bishorner, Lake City, Southern Cal. 3rd place, Bobby Forcine, Columbus Junction. And champion at 1A 140 from Belle Plaine, Pat Rupp.
£140. Champion.
Presenting the Class 2A 140-pound awards, Coach Steve Shirk of Wilton. 6th place, R.J. Fiddler, Glenwood. 5th place, Wes Nax, Benton, Washington. 4th place, Jason Rowe, Osceola Clark. 3rd place, Matt Ham, Tama, South Tama. Runner-up, Gavin Bradley, Jefferson Scranton. And the Class 2A 140-pound champion from Wilton, Steve Shirk.
Steve Shirk from Wilton. His team is still at it, hoping to catch Davenport Assumption in the 2A class. Those are the 2A winners at 140. Up will come to 143A.
Speaking of Steve Shirk, he's done a great job at Wilton, bringing it up. Sigourney native, coached by Jack
Presenting the
Smith.
Class 3A 140-pound awards, Coach Keith Massey of Lewis Central, Council Bluffs. 6th place, Rob Kenworthy, Clinton. 5th place, Josh Grandstaff, Mason City. 4th place, Dave Myers, Keokuk. 3rd place, Jess Hargrave, Spencer. Runner-up, Todd Buckland, Des Moines, Lincoln. And the 3A 140-pound champion from Lewis Central, Council Bluffs, David Kelgard.
And he'll be back again next year to try for his 3rd championship. David Kelgard. Very mature looking young man, and he's tough.
Well, Columbus Junction, as we said, really wrapped it up early. They wrapped it up last night, and they walked away, and they've had a state champion now to go along with their team championship. And we had the
chance earlier to talk to
That's right. I had the opportunity to talk to Bill Pleen, the coach of the year and the state champion coach from Columbus Junction.
Bill, describe to me the excitement that you, the school, and the community of Columbus Junction has about winning their first state title in any sport in the history of the community.
Well, it's been pretty evident all year long, and the way our fans have followed us. You know, we've had tremendous fan support, and tonight you'll see that there's There'll be a large section of the arena will have a whole bunch of Columbus Junction people here, and we're real excited about that.
Coach, you're the 1A Coach of the Year. Is it a great satisfaction?
Well, yeah, I'm real happy about that honor. A lot of the credit has to go to my assistants, John Siegel and Andy Milder, and the kids I have on my team that just got out of their way and worked so hard and made everything so successful for us.
Now we're going to 152 pounds. That was Coach Pleen of Columbus Junction, whose team has done such a wonderful job this year and wrapped up the 1A championship on semifinal night. We're going now to 1A for the next 4 weights. And Jacobs Knight of Mount Ayr wrestles undefeated Justin Decker of Maynard West Central at this weight in the match we have right in front of us. That's Knight in the black, Decker in the blue. Decker is undefeated in West Central, Maynard West Central, Alliston Bristow. He's coached by Larry Munger, who was an Iowa State wrestler. And he is already announced he's going to go to Iowa.
Signed with Iowa, and a special greeting to his grandma Lois, who's at home.
2A is between Marcus Kurtz. This is a big one between Marcus Kurtz of Davenport and Assumption and Shane Bourne of Wilton. And the Wilton man had the first takedown there, Shane Bourne. 3A, it's Brad Honnold of Clarinda and Andy Kruger of Sioux City Heelan trying to become the first Sioux City champion.
Stalemate, man, let's go up.
Here we are, it's 152 pounds. We're moving up in the weights now. Mark Bean of Iowa City is the official. And Justin Decker of Maynard West Central has shot in on the leg. But Knight is not taking the easy way at all.
Whoa, there he's got a kind of cradle almost hooked up right there. Knight only losing once, he said, 34-1 from Mount Ayr. Coached by longtime coach, veteran coach in the sport, Ron Scott.
152 pounds for the championship of the state of Iowa in 1995. No score yet. We've used all but 20 seconds of this first period.
Knight's dad, Jerry Knight, was Mount Air's first state place winner when he was third at 154 a while ago.
Center. Hustle back, gentlemen, hustle back.
Out of bounds. You saw Coach Ron Scott doing that little pirouette, that little dance. It's like, you know, it's like people watching. When you watch at home, you know, and your favorite wrestlers out there, you know, you suddenly find yourself in contorting yourself all over the place, and that's what Ron Scott was doing.
Green choice, top, bottom, neutral, or defer. Down. Green, down.
Second period, Decker goes down.
You're down.
And there's no score.
Let's go, bud. Get set now.
There's the runaway victory for Columbus Junction.
How about that?
And we've got second and third close.
Easy.
Well, Winthrop East Buchanan lost a chance when they had an injury there.
But they have another match coming up. They have another finalist coming up, so they still have an opportunity to overtake Interstate 35, who doesn't have any more left.
Neutral, neutral.
So Decker is out for the first point of the match, 1-0. He leads Jacobs Knight of Mount Ayr.
You need time? Okay.
152. We're watching the 1As through these next 4 weights, 152. 160, 171, and 189. Then we get to heavyweight. We'll see how the team scores are and one thing and another, and we'll make a decision just before we start. Injury here, Jacobs Knight. Looks like he's hurt his ankle, so he's going to get a wrap. That is Justin Decker, ranked #1 all year. He's still ranked #1. Jacobs Knight ranked right behind him.
Once again, we'd like to recognize the able assistance provided to our young wrestlers.
152-pound class. We're at Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines. Iowa Public Television coverage. of the 1995 Wrestling Championships. The attendance has been a record these 2
right
weeks.
here, gentlemen.
They won't have they tell me they won't have an audited figure, is what they call it, until later, but they're just confident as all get out that they've had more people in 3 days than they've ever had before. They knew it the first day. Leading by 1-0. You see Decker coming after the takedown in the blue. Doesn't have it yet, but he's stuffing the head, and he's going to get it, I think.
He's working for it, but there's the 2 points.
There it is. Knight coming around on a switch.
Off the mat, you're down, Red. Hustle back, gentlemen.
This is
Wilton really going after it. There's the big match up there, the head-to-head with Assumption and Wilton. And Wilton is leading 6-0 right now. 3 more points, 9-0 at the end of the second period, and he's going to get that extra point back and could tie Assumption with that win.
Top.
That's Wilton against Assumption in the 2As. We're running, as we always do, in an Iowa High School Athletic Association 3-year rotation series. Nobody knows what the teams are going to be 3 years ahead of time. It just works out as it works out. And tonight we have through 152 through 189 in the 1A. Tonight is the crowd 12,894, sellout.
We rotate every 3 years, through the 3 years, so all classes will be represented. It's the fairest way to do it.
Yeah.
Break easy.
Often we get questions about, well, why don't you split the screen and do all 3 at once? Well, it doesn't work that way.
Stay
it's just
set.
too hard to cover. You don't see anything. Decker leading 3-0, starts on top with 25 seconds to go in the second period. He's controlling Knight very well.
And in AAA, it's Andy Kruger from Sioux City Heelan ahead 9-2 with only a minute left over Brad Hunold from Clarinda.
Yes, Hunold, yeah, Brad Hunold, coached by Mike Moreno.
And Andy Kruger looking for the first state championship.
You need time
there
right now? Start
Sioux City Heelan.
Start time.
Injury here at 152 in the 1A mat. Knight again is hurting with that left ankle. He had it wrapped here a moment ago. My sense of it is that this is something he may have had before.
We're just over a minute right now.
So bring you up to date with 45 seconds left, the Wilton Assumption match. The Wilton wrestler Shane Bourne is trying to make his record 43-0. He's ahead 11-0 over Marcus Kurtz from Davenport Assumption. And this will, here we are. There's Wilton and Assumption, the big match, 11-0. And what Wilton needs to do here is at least win by the major to tie it all back up.
It's the man in blue who leads now 13-0.
He's trying to pin him, but if he doesn't get that job done, it's going to be all tied up with Assumption only having 1 match left.
Right.
And the opportunity to win it or have a tie for the championship.
We'll go back to the 1A match as soon as it's ready to go, and you aren't going to miss anything of it. We're in the last 15 seconds here, and it does certainly look as if Shane Bourne is going to do it for Wilton and finish an undefeated season.
Boy, Wilton did everything they could in the finals, winning all 3 matches.
And
there it is, the championship. Okay. And here we go right back to 1A.
We'll go back to 1A now because Jacobs Knight had another wrap around his ankle, and he's in there with Justin Decker. Justin Decker leads 3-0 with starting the 3rd period. That's right where he left off in the 2nd period. Knight began underneath, now comes around for a switch, but Decker's very confident under there, stepped across, now works on the leg, comes right back into that aggressive position on top.
Not only is Decker tough on the mat, he's an academic All-American also this year. And he's, like you said, headed towards the University of Iowa.
Top, get off the fall, off the hips, let's go.
3-0. The official here is Mark Bean, as we said, of Iowa City.
Keep it legal. Keep it legal. 90 and no higher.
That's a hammer lock, and you hear the official quoting the rule book to Justin Decker.
A lot of pressure by Decker there on top, keeping his opponent down on the mat. Knight's hips are on the mat a lot of pressure coming from Justin Decker.
We're in the last 50 seconds here. 3-0 lead by Decker. It's only a 3-point lead, but he's controlled on top the whole way. He hasn't been able to turn Knight over.
Well, he's a good football player also, and he's also a good baseball player. His decision is, should I play one more summer of baseball or not, is what he's trying to decide after this, because he loves all 3 sports, but he's going to be all wrestling when it comes college.
20 seconds to go. Decker on top from Maynard West Central, Allison Bristow, looking for his 41st straight win of the year without a loss.
Come on, Red. Come up. Come up,
5
Red.
seconds to go. And he rode Knight for about 3 straight minutes. And there it is. A state championship for Justin Decker. Three to nothing over Jacobs Knight.
Shake hands, please. Stay with me on this one, bud. All the way around. All the way around. Nice job. Congratulations.
Shakes hands with Coach Larry Munger, assistant coach.
Joe Plain of Columbus Junction.
1A winners.
6th place, Corey Vandenheuvel, Thornburg Tri-County. 5th place, Jared Lund, Greenfield, Nottoway. 4th place, Dennis Mosher. 3rd place, Todd Felper, Riceville. Runner-up, Jeff Press, Winthrop East Buchanan. And the Class 1A 145-pound champion from Columbus Junction, Randy Pugh.
He's from a state championship team. He not only has a gold medal, his team wins the big one too. Well, in 2A, they're still tied. Davenport Assumption and Wilton 85.5 points.
And one more time to do it here. Assumption comes up with their last wrestler. Wilton's had all 3 of theirs. Couldn't get any more tense than this.
So if Assumption can win, that's it. Now we're going to 2A at 145 pounds. The winners up on the stand.
Presenting the Class 2A 145-pound awards, Coach Wade King of Davenport Assumption. 6th place, Brett Showalter, Hampton Dumont. 5th place, Tony Rosewood, Knoxville. 4th place, Trevor Endicott, Glenwood. 3rd place, Mark Dunbar, Osceola Park. Runner-up, Scott Kaufman, Emmitsburg. Class 2A 145-pound champion from Davenport Assumption, Ben Jobson.
Ben Jobson, the Davenport Assumption champion. Very important for him to do that because kept Davenport Assumption up on top. They're tied now with Wilton, and it's all in the hands of Matt Gravert coming up here at 160 for Davenport Assumption to win the title or settle for a tie for first.
Presenting the Class 3A 145-pound award.
Now 3A.
Ron Gray of West Des Moines Dowling. 6th place, Justin Wolf, Fort Dodge. 5th place, Nate Berger, Convention. 4th place, Matt Brown, Lamar. 3rd place, Troy Hagee, Pleasant Valley. Runner-up, Gary Lake, Waterloo East. The Class 3A 145-pound champion from West Des Moines Dowling, Steve Blackford.
And that, Steve Blackford from Dowling wins at 145. Let's go to Dean Bohr.
Well, Doug and Tim, Shane Bourne, a senior from Wilton, no doubt is happy about the other 2 state champions that have been crowned tonight from his school, but the one that really counts, of course, is the one he wrestled. He defeated Marcus Kurtz of Davenport Assumption 13-1. He dominated all the way, led 4-0 after the first period, 9-0 after the second, and then scored 13-1, a major decision over Marcus Kurtz. Shane Bourne, the champion, at 152 pounds in AA. Dick?
In 3A competition for the title at 152 pounds, Andy Kruger of Sioux City becomes the first 2-time winner in the city of Sioux City. He's from Heelan as he defeats Brad Hunold of Clarinda by the margin of 11-4. And there you see a very excited Sioux City Heelan senior. Let's go back to Doug.
160 pounds. We're at 1A for our main mat. And we'll keep a really close eye on 2A because Davenport Assumption's Matt Gravert is wrestling Dave Doble of Clear Lake, and if he wins, it's an Assumption title. If he loses, it's a tie between Wilton and Assumption. Here's Justin Short, of Winthrop East Buchanan, undefeated, against David Sandhoff of Early Schouler Crestland.
Go back inside, guys. In the middle. Keep it right here.
Rich Gray of St. Charles is the official here. And Short is in the white top. There's 2A. That's between Doble and Graber.
And the red is Assumption right there, and he just got a takedown, and he's a little bit closer to a team title.
In the middle, guys. Let's go.
And that's 3A. Adam Bendorf of Council Bluffs Lewis Central, undefeated, against Travis Evans of City High in Iowa City, coached by Brad Smith. Front headlock very tight here for Justin Short. Looks real strong with it. He just posting that head so he can come around, and he did for the takedown. Makes it 2-0 in the first minute here at 160 pounds. Man. Little bigger guys here now.
Right here. 1 minute
Justin
left.
Short, ranked number 2 at the end of the year. We count on our rankings. We use the rankings of the Des Moines Register. A lot of thanks to some of the help we've had with their information, and Dan McCool especially.
David Sandhoff here, unranked coming into the tournament, flattened out by Justin Short. Short doing a good job of really putting the pressure on Sandhoff from Early Schouler Crestland.
2-0 score.
No worse feeling than when you're underneath like Sandhoff is there and you can't even get up to your knees because there's so much pressure there. There's an arm bar and a near wrist.
Work for score, guys. Work
used
for
by
score.
Justin Short, trying to turn his opponent.
We were talking about Dan McCool, you know, the Register reporter who knows a lot about high school wrestling, and he had 72% of his first place picks
are in the finals.
Yeah, right. We're in the finals. It's pretty good.
All 3 classes. Sandhoff trying to sit out, but Justin Short doing a nice job of following behind him right here. Flattens him out again, and we're right back where we started.
And it's going to be right out right to the end of the period here because time is out.
Period.
2-0 in favor of Short.
Okay, red choice, up, down.
There's Dan McCool,
red
yes.
Defers to
Got
green.
a good shot of Dangerous Dan.
Green takes down.
Of the Des Moines Register.
Second period, 2-0 red.
I have to give him a lot of credit for his coverage of high school wrestling in the state.
He's dedicated to it.
He really is. Short starts the second period right where he ended the first one, on top and grinding.
Sandhoff really having trouble getting his hips underneath him. Short, undefeated, going for his 32nd win this year.
So improve it, guys, improve it.
His coach is Dave Steinkamp. And David Sandhoff is coached by Scott Selby.
Dave Steinkamp, one of the longtime coaches, 26 years as a head coach, all 26 years at East Buchanan.
Oh, here it is, right over
and he's had over 220 career wins. This year, his team was 11-3, and has done a real nice job. It's the first time, there he is, Dave Steinkamp. He had Jeff Kress and Justin Short in the finals, first time ever having 2 finalists in the state from his team. His son wrestled this year in the state tournament, and it's just he's done a great job.
Somebody spotted blood out there, and so that has to be cleaned up. They first had to decide which man whose it was, and it turned out apparently to be Justin Short's. So he's getting patched up here before they start. 2-0 in favor of this man, Justin Short, in our main match here at 160 pounds in the 1995 High School Wrestling Championships on Iowa Public Television. Wherever you are in the state, we hope you're enjoying it. This is the 24th year of our coverage of the Wrestling Championships, and always live from this year. Ever since we've been doing it, it's been Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines.
Justin Short, we were saying undefeated this year. He's been at 160 pounds all 3 years that he's come to the state tournament. He qualified and didn't place in '93.
We're going to drop off, Tim, just to another match here for a second. That's the 3A match between Adam Bendorf of Council Bluffs Lewis Central on the right, and City High of Iowa City's Travis Evans with the red front. They're back at it again on 1A, by the way. So we'll get back to that. There you are between Justin Short and David Sandhoff. Short picks up right where he left off. Riding tough.
Short has not been taken down this year.
Is that right?
He has not been taken down all year long. And like I said, I was finished my thought. Last year he got 5th, and now here he is in the finals. And his favorite wrestling move, the takedown, he says. Going to Co-College next year. It's already decided. That's where he's going to wrestle.
All fingers, get them all.
Well, I have some good people I know went there.
You bet. Some good people come out of there.
Including Tim Johnson. Well, we have East Buchanan's Short. Boy, you don't get taken down when you're on top like this.
No, he's really put the pressure on him the whole night. He knows how to grind.
2-0, but it's the lead. It's only 2-0, but my heavens, it's put a lot of pressure. He would like to get Sandhoff over once,
Gotta
though.
use that, Red. Gotta use it.
Because 2-0, you know, that's just not quite enough to feel safe with, no matter who you are. 25 seconds to go in the second period at 160.
Both men here. Let's go. Both men.
Still very close in that Doble and Gravert match.
Get something going.
Davenport Assumption wants to win a state title. And Gravert, I think, has a 1-point lead with about a minute and a half to go.
3-2 in favor of Davenport Assumption's wrestler Gravert with, you're right, 1:10 left. Couldn't get any more closer than this for 2A.
But look at this ride by Justin Short. You know, he's sucking Sandhoff back, trying to put him on his back. Couldn't do it, but he still maintains that position all the way through the second period.
In 3A, it's 5-3 in favor of Adam Bendorf from Lewis Central over Travis Evans from Iowa City, City High.
Bendorf, as we said, another undefeated wrestler from Lewis Central, Council Bluffs.
It's still 3-2 in 2A in favor of Davenport Assumption's Gravert with 45 seconds left, and they're on their feet. And a win there would give them the state championship. So,
yeah. That's Mark Bean, who's the assistant referee at this mat. Rich Gray of St. Charles is the head referee. And again, they're patching up Justin Short. They figure they just put a bandage on it because they have to cover the bleeding.
There's only 45 seconds left in the 3A, and it's still 5-3 with Bendorf leading Evans.
Let's go down and take a look at this Davenport Assumption and Clear Lake match with, 19 seconds to go and a 1-point lead for Gravert. And here is Doble taking time for an injury.
Got a little bloody nose there, and they're taking care of a bloody nose right there. In 3A, we've got 2 injuries timeouts right now with 1A and 2A. And in 3A, 15 seconds left. And we've got a double stalling, and they each got a point against them. And now it's 6-4. So the difference stays the same.
Now we're going to the TV match. We started with Justin Short and David Sandhoff. And this time in the third period, Sandhoff gets to start on top. And you think, boy, what a relief to be up here. And he's trailing only by 2-0, and he's trying to work hard against Justin Short to make a difference, but he can't hold him, and now it's 3-0. Short is out, stood up and got away.
On 3A, Lewis Central wins. Bendorf from Lewis Central, Council Bluffs beats Evans from Iowa City, City High 6-4. And we've only got 10 seconds left in this 2A also.
Still a 1-point lead for Assumption. We'll keep track of that for you.
It's improved, guys. It's improved.
And Assumption won it, 3-2.
Assumption won 3-2, and they won their first state title.
That's the championship for them. They had to have that win. If they tied, it would have been a 2-way first place between Assumption and Wilton.
You got to give Wilton and Assumption a lot of credit there. Wilton won 3 state titles, gave them all they could give them, but Assumption won the 2 that they needed.
Justin Short here at the 1A mat is leading 6-0 over David Sandhoff with 50 seconds to go. He's dominated here right from the start. You can see quite easily how he got 31 in a row this year without a loss.
He's a horse.
Tight waist. Boom. Near wrist, and he flattens Sandhoff out.
Gonna use it,
Has the
Tom. Gonna
hammer
use it.
lock with the left arm. And you hear Rich Gray saying, use it. Well, he'd like to use it.
Straight across, straight
there
across.
He is using it.
He's got to make sure that he comes straight across.
Potentially dangerous. Go again. Here we go.
Rich Gray thinks it's potentially dangerous. And starts him again with 10 seconds to go in the match. 10 seconds to go. It's going to be a state title for Justin Short. He got reversed right at the end. He lost his shutout, but how does he care, huh? 6-2. A state title for East Buchanan.
I want to turn you both sides. Nice match, guys. Okay, there's our champion. Okay, over here.
Justin Short. Gets the bloody bandage around his head and the championship to go with it. Let's go to the 152-pound winners at 1A.
Class 1A 152-pound awards, Coach Larry Munger of Maynard West Central. 6th place, Mason Stein, Lisbon. 5th place, Scott Nichols, Corden Wayne. 4th place, Brandon Christopher, North Winneshiek. 3rd place, Will Steinkamp, Winthrop East Buchanan. Runner-up, Jacobs Knight, Mount Ayr. And the Class 1A 152-pound champion from Maynard West Central, Justin Decker.
Justin Decker. Undefeated year, 41-0 at a state championship.
Presenting the Class 2A 152-pound awards, assistant coach Dennis Bourne of Wilton. 6th place, Dan Rowley, Knoxville. 5th place, Jake Prezek, NCNK Manly. 4th place, Carson Andorf, Independence. 3rd place, Jeremy Huskovic, New Hampton. Runner-up, Marcus Kurtz, Davenport Assumption. And the Class 2A 152-pound champion from Wilton, Shane Bourne.
Shane Bourne of Wilton gave it a try for his team. He won when he had to win to tie his team up with Davenport Assumption. But then the 160-pound Matt Gravert of Assumption put it away for his team with a win in the next weight class. There's Dan Gable. Checking out the talent here. And he's a fairly decent judge of it, I think you have to admit.
Presenting the Class 3A 152-pound awards, Coach Rick Tooney of Sioux City Heelan. 6th place, Chad Leonard, Ankeny. 5th place, Casey Aldridge, Indianola. 4th place, Kerry Whelan, Cedar Falls. 3rd place, Mike Porter, Council Bluffs, Abe Lincoln. Runner-up, Brad Honold, Clarinda. And the Class 3A 152-pound champion from Sioux City Heelan, Andy Kruger.
There's Andy Kruger with his 2nd state title. I said earlier he's going for his 1st title. I meant the first 2-time winner in the city of Sioux City. And so 2-time state champion Andy Kruger.
Let's go to Dick Trotter for a floor report.
All right, there were 3 takedowns in the second period by Adam Bendorf of Council Bluffs, Lewis Central, and that was all they needed for that 6-4 victory over Travis Evans of Iowa City, 160 pounds 3A titleist. Now let's go to Dean Borg with a guest.
Well, and you know this man very well, Dick Trotter, because he says he was a student teacher with you in Cedar Rapids. This is Wade King of Davenport Assumption. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We've just been told that you have won the 2A title.
Thank you.
What made that team this year? Just laden with talent or what?
Well, we had some talented kids that really wanted to work hard. And I think the thing that made us is the competition that we've wrestled all year. We see Wilton and West Liberty all season long in Pleasant Valley, and it really helped us for this kind of competition today.
Now, is this going to be a team with this year only, or have you got some talent coming on?
Oh, we've got about 6 seniors that are in the lineup this year that are graduating, but we've got a real good group of juniors coming back, and we're going to try to rebuild from the ground up a little bit.
We're going to see you back here next year, I'm sure. Back to you, Doug.
And thank you very much, Dean and Dick. And Wade will have his voice back in the morning.
He doesn't care.
Nah, that's all right. Nothing more to say tonight. He won.
Just in time for the big assembly at Davenport Assumption next week.
That's right. Let's go to 171 pounds now. We're on the 1995 High School Wrestling Championships at Veterans Auditorium. We're still with the 1A class. And here's Lee Weber of Gilbertville, Don Bosco, undefeated. It's the first Don Bosco wrestler we've seen tonight. Paul Jen of West Hancock is his opponent. Weber was ranked #1 all year, 38-0 coming in, coached by Dan Mashik. And the name Weber?
Little brother of Darrell Weber, Iowa 158-pounder.
And at 2A, Dane Lundvall of Glenwood goes up against Ryan Kinsella of Creston Crestwood.
Circle.
And
Give him a chance.
at 3A, it's Matt DeRocher of Lamar's, Northwest Iowa, and Steve Niles of Charles City,
You want it on?
Northeast Iowa. Northwest Iowa against Northeast.
Yet? Are you ready? You want time? Give me injury time.
Injury here at #1 at the,
Just tape it
at the
on.
1A mat.
Just tape it on. It'll start bleeding.
In fact, that's Lee Weber.
Looking on is Coach Dan Mashik, went into the Hall of Fame this year. And this is his 25th year at Don Bosco and 25th year in coaching. Had a good year, 23-3. And of course, the Brit wrestler, longtime coach Al DeLeon, 33 years in coaching and 33 years at Brit.
And that's something. These are two of the most successful coaches in the sport, in the history of sport in this state, Al DeLeon and Dan Mashik. Have they ever had a bad year, either one of them? I don't think so, maybe.
Hold it.
Coaching does make a difference, you know, it really does. You can see
We got blood on the head here.
talented people in a lot of towns, and some
Take your
people
headgear
just
off.
know how to get it going in the sport of
You're
wrestling.
gonna have to cover it. It's
All the
coming
way
through.
down to the bottom
Just
of
tape it around.
the
Just
junior
tape it around
highs
this
and
one
grade
down.
schools they start. Paul Jen has a bandage around his head because he has been
There's no time on this, so just
cut
relax, all right?
somewhere in the past in one of the earlier matches in the tournament.
It's coming through on this
That's how it
shoulder,
ends at
so-
2A, at least the top two, Davenport
right.
Assumption and Wilton.
Great race between Wilton, Davenport Assumption, and as Coach King said, they've been going at it all year long, and throw West Liberty in there, and the three of the top four were in sectionals and districts together, Doug. And came all the way through, and then congratulations to Clark Osceola.
Well, that's something, you know, to come through the sectionals and districts and still have enough points left at the end after they beat each other up to get all the way to the title and finish 3 out of the top 4.
I don't know whether any team has ever done that, come all the way through all 3 tournaments and stay that close.
That's Paul Jen. We can take a look at 2A. Well, I think we're ready to go here. I was going to say we would change mats, but now I think Paul Jen's ready to go from West Hancock
Lines.
against Lee Weber of Gilbertville, Don Bosco. Tying up in the center of the mat, 171 pounds. That's Weber on the right, Jen in the red. Opposite him.
Both other matches are 1-0. Well, it's 2-1 in favor of Matt DeRocher from Lamar's over Charles City, Steve Niles on the 3A mat. It's 1-0 on the 2A mat in favor of Lundvall over Kinsella. Lundvall from Glenwood over Kinsella from Creston. A minute left in the second period. On 3A, there's a minute left in the second period.
Here we are at 1A.
Break it right there
Kind of
on
a
the
tough
shoulder.
position, and the official, Greg Eschweiler, thinks it's potentially dangerous. Greg Eschweiler of Trappola, first time we've seen him. Weber against Jen. Weber in the blue. Trying to finish an undefeated year.
See, nice job of dropping in right there. Weber looking to work something to the right side of Jen right there, staying right on Jen's right arm, looking for an opening for a fireman's carry, something like that.
They went through the first period on no score.
Green will go down. This
Jen
way.
has his pick, and he takes the under position.
In the third, or in 3A, it's 2-2, all tied up with only a few seconds left in the second period. All tied up between DeRocher and Niles.
Jen is out very fast at this period. Weber allowed him to stand up, and Jen got out 1-0. First score in the match.
That's you. You get in there. Let's go, Red.
There's a warning
against Weber.
Against Weber.
Now there he is on the right
comes
side.
in.
Single leg. Trips through and gets a 2. That's all he needed. Just a little warning to spur him on. He says, but let me back to my feet. I want to go.
Neutral, 1 green.
He now lets Jen out. Makes it 2-1, 2-2. He feels confident on his feet, although that was only the first takedown he had.
Here we go.
You know, every time you hear somebody being warned for stalling and then doing something big after that, I think back to Yojiro Yutaki, who used to wrestle. Japanese Olympic champion, went to Oklahoma State, and then one night, the story goes, he was warned for stalling against somebody, and the opponent said, "Ref, why did you do that?"
Go, both up.
I don't want him upset. 2-2.
Weber was a qualifier as a sophomore and placed 4th last year. Going to go to Iowa, join his brother.
Weber looking very confident out there now.
The reason he was able to do that was he got in the single and head to the outside, but then he just crowded the hips and really controlled the hips of Jen and got the takedown.
The impression was that he may have seen something that he liked. He just figured he could do it now. 4-2, he's leading. And it looks like he just hasn't sort of figured it out.
Yeah, nice job. A little heel pick action. He controlled the shoulder, the right shoulder, and then dropped across to the left heel.
Seconds.
There's Dan Mashik going, yeah, that away, that buddy.
Bring it on.
6-3 with a half a minute to go in the period. Now this time Weber is staying down. He's going to try to turn Jen here.
With a minute left in the 3rd period, it's 7-2 on 3A in favor of Lamar's DeRocher over Niles from Charles City.
And it's 3-0 in favor of Lundvall of Glenwood over at the 2A mat.
With a minute left in the 3rd period also.
No.
There's the end of the 2nd period here at 1A. Lee Weber and Paul Jen. Weber leads by 3, 6-3.
Other way, Red.
And now Weber
6-3.
will take down.
Set. Cover.
Weber stops that first move very well. He's going to try to ride for a while and see if he can turn Weber over. He wanted to tilt off that move. Now he's going for the crossface. Anything to make those 3 points up. There he's going to try that side headlock now and see if he can make some kind of a throw out of it.
Well, the 3/4 Nelson there, and he's got the leg hook, but they call him off.
Set. Cover. Yeah. Caution, Red.
The man on top moved too fast,
When
so
you
it's a
come on
caution.
and stay on the side you're going with.
You heard Greg Eschweiler say you can't move that quickly. 6-3 is the score.
Glenwood's Dane Lundvall wins a close 4-2 match over Ryan Kinsella from Preston Crestwood.
2, Red.
There's a reversal for Lee Weber. He's up 8-3 now.
Green. All right.
He has the half Nelson. Trying to bar the far arm.
Break it.
As they go out of bounds, there is about 1 minute to go in this
We got
match.
a technical violation on Green. Grabbing the clothes. 1 more, Red.
1 point for
Green grabbed the jersey.
For Weber.
He grabbed the jersey when he came around.
He says they grabbed the jersey,
Okay,
which you
1
can't
minute,
do.
set. Cover.
There's Coach De Leon right there for West Hancock Brett.
9-3 now. Weber leading by 6. 5 again now that Jen gets out.
Let's go, guys.
And out of bounds.
Right over there, you see the 3A wrestlers gathering because DeRocher from Lamar's has won 9-4 over Niles from Charles City.
Good high crotch move by
Oh, he's got him tight.
Weber.
Weber's got him tight, but
2.
Jen's able to come out and avoid a big 5-point move and gives up the 2 points to Lee Weber.
11-4. 4-2. Dane Lundvall won over Ryan Kinsella at AA. In one of the other matches, this is the only one left going at 171 pounds.
You're down, Green.
11-5.
Optional.
Weber decides just to let him go and come to the feet, and I don't think he expected that to happen.
If Jen can hold on, nope, Weber was able to slip the arms out, just keeping too good a position right there, and he wins it.
Trying to pancake him, but he couldn't do it. And that ends at 11-6 is the score.
Nice match, guys.
A championship for a Weber. Lee Weber finishes the season 39 and zip. Gilbertville Don Bosco wins at 171 Class A. Now we're going to give the awards at 160 pounds, beginning with the Class A at one end of our Veterans Auditorium, which is packed to the rafters tonight in a record-setting attendance for 3 days.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the award stand at the east end of the auditorium. Presenting the Class 1A 160-pound awards, assistant coach Phil Stephan of Winthrop East Buchanan. 6th place, Doug Swain, Griswold. 5th place, Doug Dickinson, Woodbine. 4th place, Ryan Crooks, Mason City Newman. 3rd place, Travis Egley, Truro I-35. Runner-up, David Sandoff, Early, Shaler Kreslin. And the 1A 160-pound champion from Winthrop East Buchanan, Justin Short.
Undefeated year. Big smile for the 160-pound champion. Now we go to 160-pound 2A. The 6 top place winners.
Presenting the Class 2A 160-pound awards, Coach Wade King of Davenport Assumption. 6th place, Scott Fisher, Conrad BCL. 5th place, Kyle Hansen, Wilton. 4th place, Shane McClinton, Storm Lake. 3rd place, Jake Hayes, Creston. Runner-up, Dave Doble, Clear Lake. And the 2A 160-pound champion from Davenport Assumption, Matt Grabert.
Did Matt Grabert win a big championship, or did he?
Wow, I'll tell you, that's stuff kids dream of. That's what you dream of.
He won the state title.
I win the state title, and I get it for a state title for my team. Wow.
Yep.
Not many get to do that in a lifetime.
We'll go up to 3A, the top 6 winners. The coach of the winning wrestler at the weight always gets to give the awards.
160-pound awards, Coach Keith Massey of Lewis Central Council Bluffs. 6th place, Max Slauson, Southeast Polk Reynolds. 5th place, Gunther Hildreth, West Des Moines Dowling. 4th place, Craig Cookman, Mason City. 3rd place, Ryan LaGrange, Cedar Rapids Prairie. Runner-up, Travis Evans, Iowa City, City High. And the 3A 160-pound champion from Lewis Central Council Bluffs, Adam Bendorf.
And there's another undefeated season.
And that keeps them in the hunt. We'll talk about that later. Lewis Central.
In 1A, in the 3A. Of course, we're coming up now to 189 pounds. That may change. Here's Dean Board.
At 171 pounds in AA, Dane Lundvall of Glenwood twice this year had lost to #1 ranked Ryan Kinsella. But then in a reversal in the districts, he pinned Kinsella. Well, the two met again here tonight, and Lundvall proved it was no fluke in the districts. He decisioned Kinsella 4-2. Dane Lundvall of Glenwood is the champion at 171 in AA. Dick?
In 3A competition at 171 pounds, Matt DeRocher of Lamars High School is the state champion. Matt defeats Steve Niles, only a sophomore from Charles City, by the margin of 9-4. And let's go back to Doug.
We still have the title up for grabs at the 3A championships. The 3A weight class, although it's going to be tough for Lewis Central to catch Prairie, they might do it.
Right. We'll talk about that a little bit. Let's set this one up.
Okay, let's go to 189 pounds here at 1A. Undefeated Callie Kruger of Parkersburg Applington High School is up against Derek Mader of Corning. And boom, in goes Callie Kruger in the red uniform for the first takedown. He's had 2-0 over Mader.
Return to the mat, Red.
Now, last year, these two met twice, and Mader won it.
That's right, twice. That's right. And so it's,
right here.
But here they are, and Kruger hasn't lost all year.
Over at 2A, one of the Fullharts from Decorah. This is Bob Fullhart. What is a third or fourth brother, something like that? Is up against Tag Noel of Sheraton for the championship. And at the 3A class, Cedar Rapids Prairie's Satori Snow wrestles Jason Crooks of Fort Madison. And if Snow wins, that's it, right?
That's right.
This is Prairie against Fort Madison.
That's Crooks from Fort Madison, last year's winner at 171.
And he's up 2-1.
Going against Sartori Snow. Snow's kind of a unique story, coming out of Washington, and his mother said, let's get closer to where great wrestling is. And if he won the Washington State tournament last year, and we'll get back to that.
Now we're going back to 1A, where the man who's in the up position there, Callie Kruger, 2-0. Starts on top.
You're coming up. You got to try and return him to the mat. Right
The
here.
official's Jim McCord
Green,
from
stay
Alden.
down. Red, cover.
Jim McCord of Alden, the assistant referee on this mat,
Return him to the mat,
is
Red.
Maury Adams.
Attack, Red.
Out of bounds. 1:11 left in the first period. 189. This is
Green
the
ready. Red,
last
cover.
weight before heavyweight.
Callie Kruger doing a nice job of riding right here against Mader after a
Return to
nice
the mat,
takedown. Staying with him. Now he has to work up or the referee's going to
Red.
get on him.
Right here. Red.
Yep. He didn't work
Red,
up.
you're stalling.
He warns Callie Kruger from Parkersburg, Applington for stalling.
Green gets set.
It's a warning the first time. The second time that happens, a penalty for stalling. It'll be a point. And again,
No change. Green's still down.
Kruger's not able to keep Mader from standing up.
Mader's not quite
Ready?
able to
No,
get out right
not
there.
quite. He has the hands, but he hasn't been able to turn in. And then Kruger goes down to the leg. That time, Kruger returned him to the mat right away. And he's pretty high here. The referee may like to stop this position. We'll see.
Yeah, Kruger might like him to stop that position right there when you're that high.
They're
Show
just
me
doing a lot of
improvement with that, Red.
stop-start here. 40 seconds to go. 2-0. Callie Kruger
here.
on top. Ranked
Stay
number
there,
1 all
Red.
year, and Derek Mader is 4th. Kruger stops the switch, gets the leg in now, but he hasn't been able to keep Mader from
Return
standing
him to
up.
the mat, Red. Return him to the mat. Return him to the mat.
Turning to the mat. Callie Kruger says, I'm trying, boss.
Yeah.
No.
Out of bounds.
It's out of bounds.
He's not returning when I want him to return.
Right here.
Kruger
Red.
leads by 2. And again, you see Mader get to the feet. This time, Kruger has him down.
Well, Mader just isn't getting good hand control coming up because he's been keeping the action going, but he needs to get his hips underneath and the hands control going. He's got to do something too. See.
Red. Right here.
Nah,
Right here.
Now, there is a point.
So they've called stalling on Red there when the underneath man came up, Derek Mader, and just went to a tripod and stood. But the referee says that the red man should be trying to improve his position more than he was.
So it's 2-1 now. That was a point, as we said. The warning once and then a point. And they've come to the end
Red's
of
choice.
the period.
Red will defer. Green.
Kruger wants Mader to make the choice.
Green's taking down.
Mader goes under.
There is Callie Kruger's
Green gets
coach,
set.
Mike
Red,
Weckworth.
cover.
And Mike has been at Appleton Parkersburg for 3 years as the head coach, 2 years as assistant coach.
Here we are in that leg in position by Kruger, and he's got to be active on top because he's...
Yeah, pretty soon he's got to decide whether he's just going to let him go and go in the for takedowns, because he's already taken him down by 1. But this underneath man, Derek Mader, has to explode and come out, and he does.
No points yet. No points. No points.
Official's waiting to see if it's a reversal.
So he's going to call it a reversal instead of 1 and 2.
That's why the official waits. And now Mader has Kruger with a crossface and a double arm tie up, and he's trying to put him on his back here.
And he's rolling in there.
He didn't get
Kruger
any
out to face him.
Even up, 3-2 now in favor.
We're neutral.
3-3. That makes it 3-3.
On the 3A mat, Jason Crooks from Fort Madison is up 6-3 over Sartori Snow from Cedar Rapids Prairie right now. And there's the coach, Greg Andrews of Derek Mader for Corning. Greg's been at Corning for 4 years as the head coach, 9 years altogether.
3-3.
Okay, up and on your lines.
They haven't met this year, as we said, but last year they met twice, and Mader was the winner both times, although Kruger has been rated higher this year, all year, and he's undefeated. Double leg, good move. Kruger got all the way in with a double leg and picked up a quick takedown, 5-3. That's the most dominating move either man has made.
Derek Mader is Greg Andrews' first finalist as a head coach. And so he's real proud, and he says he's just a very youthful and exuberant young man.
Return to the mat.
35 seconds to go in the second period at 189 pounds.
One green, neutral.
That's a point for Mader for getting out. Makes it 5-4. He trails by a point. Kruger does the shot, and Mader may score off it. He did, and he takes the lead by 6-5.
Whoa, that's a turnaround right here. Mader coming after, and he says, I know how to beat this guy. I beat him twice last year.
Yeah, and again, he's in that crossface. Oh, he's getting back points this time. Boy, he turned this around, and he's in a good spot here right at the end of the period.
That's 3-point near fall.
A 3-point near fall, Tim. That makes it 9-5 in a hurry.
Well, he's a 3-time state qualifier, and he was third last year, and so he knows what it is to be here, and he just wants to end his career with a state championship.
9-5.
It's taken him a while to turn around, but he's moved into this third period with a 4-point lead. Now Kruger is underneath. Mader's.
That's me. That's me. Okay,
Mader has hit Kruger with a crossface twice. There he's going across for it again. And Kruger has not been able to stop it. And there he goes again with a cradle.
And Kruger is
and a reversal. That's what happens when you sometimes when you go into those positions. 9-7 now in favor of Mader.
Going into third period, Fullhart, Bob Fullhart from
And Kruger has a cradle off of that high tripod.
Boy, we're rolling out there now, Doug.
He's probably thinking to himself, now why didn't I try that the last time?
Going into the third period, Fullhart, Bob Fullhart from Decorah is leading 2-0 over Tag Knoll from Sheraton.
9-7 here at the 1A match. 1A match with 189-pounder. Callie Kruger in the top position here, but he trails by 2 against Derek Mader in the black uniform from Corning.
Well, he's got to do more than he was able to do earlier with the top position right here.
There he goes for the cradle again. But it slipped, and he's going to lose the reversal, I think. Yes. 11-7.
Things are looking good.
And here's that crossface again, Tim.
He drives it through.
He's really been tough with that.
Kruger is able to get up to his base right there, and that's the best way to work against a crossface or any kind of move from the top is keep your base.
But the man on the bottom, Kruger, has now 40 seconds to make up 4 points.
Right here, green.
This time Mader is warned. Jim McCord says you have to do more on top.
Okay, red, get set. Green, cover.
On the whistle, again the crossface.
He's able to break down Kruger there. Kruger just got to his base, but he didn't explode and come out.
Show me your building under there.
Well, you know, the difference has been, I think, really the way
here we go, Doug.
Mader has been
Here we
made
go.
on top. Cradle.
Whoa.
Well, Kruger was able to roll through, and now he has Mader on his back. Oh, 15 seconds.
And it's going to be enough for a win.
Because it's a three-point near falling up here.
Oh, my goodness. Holy cow. That's an example of never giving up. I think Churchill said it about 10 times at Harvard one time. Never give up. And that is what a comeback win. Had it in control, and then Mader came from behind and went ahead, and then here it is.
And he kept his #1 position. Let's see if we can take another look at that. That was a big, big win. Here it comes, a cradle.
Here it is, the cradle right here.
And he went right through.
He went right through, and see, this was a tactical error probably for Mader, but you gotta just, your heart goes out to him because he was going after it. And now here comes Kruger, rolled through, put Mader to his back for the fall. And if Mader would have just ridden on top, squeezed him with a half, you know.
But he was gonna get points, and he had it. He had the cradle locked up.
Yeah.
Okay, 3A between Cedar Rapids Prairie, which came into this final round leading, and the only team that has a chance to beat them or catch them, Council Bluffs Lewis Central.
And what happens here is it's 10-4, and if Prairie loses, it goes Lewis Central and Prairie at heavyweight. They go head-to-head, and if Lewis Central pins Prairie, they win by half a point.
And Jason, boy, and Jason Crooks is winning over Satori Snow, 10-4. Came in with a 22-1 record. Satori Snow came to Iowa because he wanted to be a good wrestler, and he was a state champion in the state of Washington. We figured it might be tougher in Iowa. Here they are, and it has been tougher. By the way, Bob Fullhart won 5-0 over Tag Noel of Sheraton at 2A for a state championship. Seen a lot of head manages tonight. Reversal. 12-4 in favor of Crooks. There it is.
5.5 points behind, and if they pin, they win the championship. If they win, they finish second, and if they lose, Lewis Central will finish in a tie for second. So
Pleasant Valley, you see, is in second place tied, but they don't have anybody left. They didn't have anybody in this final round, and so their 71 was fixed. Cedar Falls right in there behind.
Cedar Falls, Gene Doyle saying, I just needed one more win somewhere.
Now it's 12-8. Getting a little closer. 12-8 is Satori Snow trying to put his man on his back.
Trying to give his team a championship here, comeback.
13-10 now, and there's a warning against Crooks of Fort Madison. 14-10 with 18 seconds to go and counting here. Well, we saw a terrific turnaround in that.
I was going to say, you never say die, and anything could happen here.
And that's one way to do it. Jason Crooks took a long shot in, and there's a warning against
Mike Axline deciding that
well, he decided
Crooks,
that
wasn't making a shot to score, but to stall.
So it's 14-11 with 4 seconds to go. It's looking more and more as if that heavyweight match is going to be for the marbles.
Heavyweight match between Heineck and Deal.
I think we ought to take a look at that one.
I think maybe everyone would be interested in that match, Doug.
There it is. That's the winner. Jason Crooks of Fort Madison is the state champion.
For the second year in a row, just at a heavier weight.
He beat Satori Snow of Cedar Rapids Prairie 14-11. 189-pound champion. Let's go down to 171. The award stand, the 1A class.
Presenting the Class 1A 171-pound awards, Coach Dan Mashik of Gilbertville, Don Bosco. 6th place, Jason Payne, Columbus Junction. 5th place, Cody Weidman, Parkersburg, Applington. 4th place, Ryland Bust, Jewell, South Hamilton. 3rd place, Dan Sommerfeld, North Lynn, Cogan. Runner-up, Paul Jen, West Hancock, Brett. And the Class 1A 171-pound champion from Gilbertville, Don Bosco, Lee Weber.
Lee Weber, continuing the success of the Weber family and of the Gilbertville Don Bosco program, under Dan Mashik. Lee Weber, the champion, undefeated season, 39-0. 39 wins, no losses. Now we're going to Double-A. You said we're going to look ahead to that heavyweight. We'll settle the 3A championship.
Bob Dyer of Glenwood. 6th place, Craig Clark, LaPorte City Union. 5th place, Robert Rothler, Emmitsburg. 4th place, Kevin Reddig, Knoxville. 3rd place, Ross Harbison, Adel DeSoto, Minburn. Runner-up, Ryan Kinsella, Preston. And the Class 2A 171-pound champion from Glenwood, Dane Lundvall.
Glenwood gets a champion, and there he is. 171-pounder. Three A's are coming up. As we say, the championship in Class AAA will be decided at heavyweight.
Comes right down to heavyweight.
And it'll be Chad Deal against Trent
Presenting
Heineck, and
the
we'll
Class
have it
3A
for you in just a moment.
171-pound awards, Coach Tom Smalley of Lamar's. 6th place, Chris Hott, Urbandale. 5th place, Ben LaFleur, Sioux City, Heelan. 4th place, Creighton Duncan, Pleasant Valley. 3rd place, Brady Atchison, West Des Moines Valley. Runner-up, Steve Niles, Charles City. The Class 3A 171-pound champion from Lamar's, Matt DeRocher.
How about that? There's the champion, 171. Let's go to Dean Board for a floor report.
Well, Doug, Bob Fuller of Decorah had a lot of tradition going for him. He's a 4th brother in his family to be at the state tournament. In fact, his brother Lee was a 3-time state champion. But when his hand was raised tonight, he did it for himself, and he did it decisively, 5-0 over Tag Knoll of Sheraton, Iowa. So the champion, Bob Fuller of Decorah, at 189 in Double-A. Doug?
And so we go to heavyweight. And let's set this up for you. The heavyweights at 3A. We're going to pick the 3A championship because Chad Deal of Council Bluffs Lewis Central meets up with undefeated Trent Heineck of Cedar Rapids Prairie. One side of the state against Western Iowa, against Eastern. And Prairie leads, but Chad Deal has to win by a fall.
Right, Chad Deal, ranked number 3 in the state, already signed to play football at Iowa next year, going up against number 1 ranked Trent Heineck. And if Deal can somehow pin the number 1 ranked wrestler in the state, he'll win it for his Lewis Central team. But if Heineck does anything but get pinned, he wins it for Prairie. And a great going away present for the coach from Prairie, Ron Peterson, who's going to Simpson next year as the head coach.
Now in the set this up again. That's Council Bluffs Lewis Central. Chad Deal doing the slapping. He's on his back to you.
Nothing on his knees. We've got the knee pads on Heineck.
Action.
Heineck is undefeated in 36 goes this year. We'll set up the other matches that are going on at the same time. 1A is Adam Buckland of Colfax Mingo against Dan Griffith of Twin Cedars School in Bussey. Now, Griffith is undefeated, ranked number 1. In the Double-A, Nate Warneberg of Marion wrestles undefeated Wes Hand of Tama, South Tama School in Tama, Iowa. Well, for a match this important, let's have, why don't we get the official of the year to referee it for us? That's Keith Pullman of Charles City out there.
More technique, less pushing.
They're back to the center. They've used about a minute and 10 seconds, and nobody scored. Again, that's Heineck,
I got it. Hold it, guys.
who got hit in the mouth.
Got hit in the mouth right there. Heineck was third in the state at heavyweight last year, and he's a pinner. So, I mean, the odds are stacked against the
These
Lewis
are the team
Central.
standings as we told you about them. Now, as a matter of fact, if Council Bluffs Lewis Central has to win or they finish in a tie for second.
Right, they can do no worse than second place. But Council Bluffs Lewis Central, anything on the winning side moves them ahead of Pleasant Valley. And
Thank you guys and Seth will do that.
As of the 3A standings, as we have them, Pleasant Valley didn't have any finalists, so they had 71 points coming in, and that was the best they were going to be able to do. They were the first-ranked team most of the year.
You're just going to have to stand near a vampire and lick it.
There you see Chad Deal.
over on 2A, minute and a half left. It's a 3-1 in favor of Wes Hand, who's 42-0, Pema.
And we're going to take a look at 2A. This is Nate Warnerberg against Wes Hand. Undefeated Wes Hand. And Hand just got a takedown to make it 5-1.
Hand was second in the Junior Nationals last year. He's going to the University of Iowa
Somebody
next
looks
year.
like they're about to get pinned at the 1A mat too, by the way. We're back in action again on 3A between Chad Deal and Heineck. With no score.
Big fall.
1A did end in a fall. Dan Griffith of Twin Cedars finished undefeated. He pinned Adam Buckland of Colfax Mingo. Here we are at the heavyweight between the two teams that have a chance to win this state championship. Council Bluffs Lewis Central and Cedar Rapids Prairie. 2-on-1 Russian tie-up by Heineck, and he drops down off it. Unable to score, so we come back up to the tie-up again. Again, he has that 2-on-1. He likes to work off that. Now goes into a double leg at the edge of the mat, but it's out of bounds with 2 seconds to go in the first period. Keith Massey and Ron Peterson are the coaches. That was Keith Massey you just saw, Chad Deal's coach. Second period is going to start.
Takes down, second period. Face this way. No warnings, guys. There's been no warnings, okay?
So Heineck takes down. He had the choice and decided to go under. We said Deal has to pin in order for his team to finish anywhere but in a tie for second. And if he were to happen to pin this undefeated Trent Heineck, Lewis Central would win the title. There's the first point of the match. Heineck up 1-0. Used to be an unlimited class. Now it's unlimited up to 275 pounds. Yeah. It's kind of fun to watch these. Some heavyweights weighing in.
There you go.
Sweating it out.
That's right. Sucking on a sweet tart spit.
Down on the leg goes Heineck. No takedowns yet, but Heineck has the ankle. See what he does with it. See the official calling it potentially dangerous.
Over on 2A, West Hand having no problem right now. 11-5.
Check.
There's a good look at Keith Poolman, official of the year.
And boom, there goes Heineck in on the leg. Switches to a double. He still doesn't have the takedown though.
There he does.
He does.
He came after him and he just kept going. He drove through and controlled the hips and got the 2 points. And he's looking good right now.
Yes.
A lot of pressure on top. He says, okay, I've kind of busted through the initial nervous system here, and I'm going to put the pressure on now.
He has 38, 37, 36 seconds left in the second period, leading 3-0. You begin to see how he went undefeated this year. Controlling very well. He sets his own pace. He lets the matches the way he wants it to go. You can tell he's controlling it. Now he has Deal's
improve on it. Let's go. Use it.
Arm barred. And Deal's just absolutely flat. He's not going anywhere here. Period's over.
Break.
So we're 2/3 of the way through. It's 3-0 in favor of Hynek over Deal.
Takes down.
Hynek looking to bring the trophy home for the Cedar Rapids Prairie team, and a championship as a going away present to their coach Ron Peterson.
Here comes Hynek over Deal. Start the third period. Hynek stopped the first move by coming down on the leg and then going up high to flatten the Deal out. And a 19-8 score over on the two-way mat. And the winner is Wes Hand over there to stay undefeated. He won for South Tama, championship for Wes Hand, coached by Jay Hosky. Here you're seeing Trent Hynek control Chad Deal very handily. Although the score is 3-0, Hynek has done a solid job.
Well, he's going to help Cedar Rapids Prairie win their second state championship as a team. The first one, my friend Ron James, as a coach back in 1979. There's Ron Peterson, going to become the second coach in Prairie history and to win a state championship.
Wasn't sure why he had that stricken look on his face, but his man is up by 3. He'd like to win a state title and then go down to Simpson and have the same kind of success he did at Prairie. Good coaches in that Iowa conference, you know. Simpson, some of those people in there.
Oh my, yeah. With
Jim Miller
at Wartburg and Al Baxter at Buena Vista, Mac McCready and Kevin Azinger, all of them. Azinger at Central, and McCready at Upper Iowa, and Randy Stewart at Loras. Man, I'll tell you, that's a great conference.
Hynek controlling, leading by 3-0 with 50 seconds to go. He's going right out front because he has the arm barred and he feels confident out there.
Now you're stalling. 1 red. You got to use it.
Oh, 3-1.
3-1.
Now 38 seconds left. It's new life.
Red's down.
But for Council Bluffs, Lewis Central, to win the title, it has to be more than a decision. It has to be a fall.
And Hynek has controlled this match, and he looks like a state champion.
Half a minute to go. Half a minute to go in the state championships on Iowa Public Television, live from Veterans Auditorium. We had more than 12,000, what would you say, 800, almost 12,900 people here.
1 green.
There's a point for Hynek, with Deal being called for inactivity. We're 8 seconds from the end.
Out, still down.
4 seconds as they go out of bounds.
Right, still down.
Well, we've enjoyed it. And I'm sure Cedar Rapids Prairie is enjoying it right now, knowing that they have a title locked up.
Columbus Junction.
There it is.
And Davenport Assumption, and now Cedar Rapids Prairie.
The 1A, 2A, and 3A championships decided here in Veterans Auditorium. The winner is Matt Hynek, and his season goes without a loss. Undefeated, 4-1, the winner over Chad Deal of Lewis Central.
Appleton.
189.
6th place, Brandon Wheelander, Rockwell City Lytton. 5th place, Matt Grimm, Maynard West Central. 4th place, Justin Sheaf, Columbus Junction. 3rd place, Scott Pospisil, Mount Vernon. Runner-up, Derek Mader, Corning. And the Class 1A 189-pound champion from Parkersburg, Applington, Callie Kruger.
1A champion Callie Kruger. Let's go to Dick Trotter.
All right, Doug, your heavyweight in 1A competition, your heavyweight champion is Dan Griffin of Twin Cedars, Bussey. as he flattened his opponent from Colfax Mingo, Adam Buckland, in 1 minute and 20 seconds left in the second period. He led only by a margin of 3-2 when that took place. And there you see a happy young man. Let's go to Dean.
Well, let's go back first to the award stand.
Sixth
AA,
place, Chris Haugen, Pleasantville. Fifth place, Phil Havard, Osceola Clark. Fourth place, Eric Short, Clarion Goldfield. Third place, Pete Donahue, Emmitsburg. Runner-up, Tag Knoll, Sheraton. And the Class 2A 189-pound champion from Decorah, Bob Fullhart.
State champion, the Fullhart family from Decorah, Bob Fullhart. Let's go to Dean Board for another floor report. Congratulations, Bob Fullhart.
Wes Hand came into this meet tonight unbeaten, 42-0. He's from Tama, South Tama. He just toyed tonight with Nate Wernenberg of Marion. He just would take him down, let him up, take him down, let him up. 9 takedowns and 1 escape for 19 points for Wes Hand as he is a state champion, defeating Nate Wernenberg, who had 8 gift escapes. Let's go back to the PA announcer for more of the awards.
Dave Williams of Fort Madison. Sixth place, Aaron Tecklenburg, Marshalltown. Fifth place, Robert Cole, Des Moines North. Fourth place, Mick Daggy, West Des Moines Dowling. Third place, Tony Whalen, Cedar Falls. Runner-up, Satori Snow, Cedar Rapids Prairie. And the Class 3A 189-pound champion from Fort Madison, Jason Crooks.
There he is, the champion, Jason Crooks for 3A at 189. Let's go to Dean Board for an interview.
Well, it's a very happy coach here. He's Ron Peterson of Cedar Rapids Prairie. Came right down to the wire, Ron.
Yeah, it did. You know, our kids just had a great week. They had a great tournament, and we were able to cap it off with Trent Hennick. Trent Hennick went undefeated this year and able to win the match to win us the state championship. It's just an awesome feeling.
Well, I'm sure it is, and it's going to be a good night's sleep maybe for you tonight. Are you going to be able to come back next year with another state champion? What do you got there for strength next year?
Well, I've accepted a job at Simpson College in Indianola next year, so the Hawks have got a lot of people in the pen, though. They'll be back contending for that title next year.
We're going back to the award stand.
Fifth place, Thad Sheldon, Mason City Newman. Fourth place, Mark Yeoman, Eldora, New Providence. Third place, John Scranton, Solon. Runner-up, Adam Buckland, Colfax Mingo. The Class 1A heavyweight champion from Twin Cedars Bussey, Dan Griffith.
That's Dan Griffith, who's the 1A champion at heavyweight. He wrapped it up tonight by beating Adam Buckland of Colfax Mingo. Finished an undefeated season. Dan was rated #1 the whole time, and he ended up the season right where he expected to be, on top of the stand there. Twin Cedars of Bussey.
Presenting
now
the
here are the
Class
2A
heavyweight
winners.
Coach Jay Hosky of Tama, South Tama County. Sixth place, David Gilbert, Sergeant Bluff Luton. Fifth place, Tom Van Dyke, Osceola Park. Fourth place, Jason McIntyre, Stewart West Central. Third place, Chip Barr, Webster City. Runner-up, Nate Wernenberg, Marion. The Class 2A heavyweight champion from Tama, South Tama County, Wes Hand.
Undefeated Wes Hand from South Tama. What a year he had, huh? Those are the 2A winners coming down off the stand, and they'll be replaced by the 3A heavyweight winners, and then we're going to have a chance to see the championship awards presented for the teams in the 1A, 2A, and 3A divisions.
Presenting the Class 3A heavyweight awards, Coach Ron Peterson of Cedar Rapids Prairie. Sixth place, Justin Galbraith, Waterloo West. Fifth place, Jay Jones, Ottumwa. Fourth place, Jamie Faw, Pleasant Valley. Third place, Corey Stevenson, Waterloo, Columbus. Runner-up, Chad Deal, Lewis Central, Council Bluffs. And the 3A heavyweight champion from Cedar Rapids Prairie, Trent Heineck.
He's got to feel relieved.
You bet. Trent Heineck. Very mature looking young man, isn't he?
I think he just looks relieved.
Those are the heavyweight winners at 1A, 2A, and 3A. And now let's get the team awards by going to the center of the mat for Mo Kelly for tonight's trophy presentation.
Control of the Iowa High School Athletic Association. To my near left is Don Helvig, who represents the Department of Education. Next to Don is Dennis Pierce, superintendent at Pocahontas. Next to Dennis, Doug Williams, the superintendent at Gilbert. And next to Doug is Arlo Plaguey of Waverly, who represents the Iowa Association of School Boards on the Board of Control. In Class 1A, if these teams would come forward as I announced them, the third place team with 65.5 points, Coach Randy Calvert and Truro, Interstate 35, third place. The runner-up team in Class 1A, they had 66 points. Coach Dave Steinkamp and Winthrop East Buchanan. And our championship, Class 1A champions, 109 points, Coach Bill Pleen and Columbus Junction. Let's turn now to Class 2A, and assisting Mr. Plaguey and Mr. Williams will be Board of Control members Bob Nielsen, Superintendent, Westside Arweva, and Eldon Pyle, Superintendent, Olwine. In Class 2A, the third place team, if they'd come forward, 74.5 points, Coach Rod Gall and Osceola Clark.
There's the Coach of the Year getting a third place trophy. Rob Gold, and he was Coach of the Year for 2A.
Wasn't that something, the Columbus Junction? What a season they've had, and finished up so well.
Nice job, fellas.
Running away with the title in 1A.
That's great. Bill Pleen getting his Coach of the Year for Columbus Junction, and kind of getting the
well, you know,
double thing.
Yeah, and you always feel a little disappointed until you see that trophy, and then all of a sudden,
2A,
gee, we finished third.
85.5 points, Coach Steve Shirk and Wilton.
Steve Shirk, what a great year. What a great run at the title. 3 individual titles there at the end. I know they're a little disappointed probably that they came up a little short, but they got to be happy. They're taking 3 championships home.
That's right.
Steve Shirk's done a great job at Wilton. Spent a lot of time, a lot of sweat there.
Yep, I remember Wilton when it was a Junction.
And the championship team,
that's how far back some of us go.
They had 89.5 points. Coach Wade King and Davenport Assumption.
First title for Davenport Assumption. Congratulations, Coach King. That's something when you can bring it home for the first time.
Yeah, and they had to come through in the finals to get the job done, and they did.
Winning 2 of 3 finalists and 2 champions.
Let's turn now to Class 3A. Assisting with Mr. Plaguey and Mr. Williams with the presentation is Terry Egan, the principal at Oskaloosa High School. And in 3A, a very tight race, we had a tie for second place with 71 points. First of all, Coach Royce Duncan and Pleasant Valley. they come forward.
Pleasant Valley, unfortunately for them, didn't get anybody in the finals.
Well, and then they turned around, and you know they were down. They had 5 in the semifinals and lost them all. And you know, you could lay down or you could get up and you go. They showed that they have some thoroughbred in them, and they came back and got 2nd place. They were leading after the 2nd round, and then were 8th going into today.
Yeah.
And so they came all the way back up, climbed up for 2nd. They got to feel awful good.
Pleasant Valley will be tie for
The other
2nd.
team that is tied for 2nd with 71 points is Lewis Central Council Bluffs.
Heath Massey and Mark Schwab, assistant coach Mark Schwab, and Lewis Central Council Bluff team.
Chad Deal out there in front. He finished 2nd at heavyweight.
Champion Dave Kelgard.
What do we do? Where's the trophy? What do we do?
Veterans Auditorium. Boy, I'll tell you, this place was absolutely packed. There are still a lot of people around, standing in the aisles and getting a look at the championship trophies.
Because of the tie for 2nd, the 3rd place award winner will be Coach Gene Doyle and Cedar Falls with 69.5 points.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cedar Falls.
Maybe Cedar Falls was a little bit surprised by this, I think.
Maybe it's
because here
they come.
Anyway you
they're
cut
waiting
it.
for 'em. Yeah.
3rd place, Cedar Falls, Coach Gene Doyle.
Yeah, they are surprised. They don't have they're ecstatic.
It's kind of interesting, actually.
They're putting on, some of them are putting them on for the pictures there. He says.
So Cedar Falls will get a trophy.
And our championship team in Class 3A with 80.5 points, Coach Ron Peterson and Cedar Rapids Prairie.
Cedar Rapids Prairie. They had to sit through a lot of anxiety before they got their people out there, but they did the job when the time came. And they held on to the lead that they brought into the finals.
Job well done.
There's the big gold trophy for 1st place. Cedar Rapids Prairie 3A state championships. Their coach, Ron Peterson, will become the coach at Simpson College next year. The 69th annual high school wrestling championships and the 24th that we brought you since 1972. I'm Doug Brown, Tim Johnson, and I wish you the best. Good night for Iowa Public Television.
Funding for this program was provided by the 70,000 families who are members of Friends of Iowa Public Television, who invite you to join them in support of quality public television programming.